Ji Saida, I think you can start now.
Assalamu alaikum everyone and good evening. Thank you for joining us today. As you can see, this week is a Global Women's Week and इस event को celebrate करने के लिए आज हमने इतनी सारी ladies entrepreneurs जो हैं आपके लिए line up की हुई हैं. We have a fantastic panel of women who are uniquely, very unique in their own rights. And I've known most of them for a while now. So ज़्यादा देर ना करती हुए मैं थोड़ा सा अपना introduction करवाऊंगी. So जैसे कि आप देख रहे हैं कि मेरा नाम सईदा अशरफ है. मैं generally UK में based होती हूँ और तकरीबन almost अब 20 साल हो गए हैं मुझे entrepreneurship में काम करते हुए. तो मैंने अपनी सबसे पहले बिजनेस जो है 19 साल की उम्र में स्टार्ट की थी. And I've never looked back. मतलब it's such a beautiful profession and especially for women. आपकी हर दिमाग के हर लेवल को ये वो करती है और आपकी पर्सनालिटी को इतना enhance करती है. तो I have a real passion for entrepreneurship and especially for women entrepreneurship. Especially अगर आप देखें ना कि हम अपना मजहब भी उठा के देखते हैं ना तो जो सबसे बड़ी जो सबसे अहम खातून थी बीबी खदीजा, आप देखिए कि वो कितनी बड़ी एंटरप्रेन्योर थी और उनकी हिस्ट्री अगर आप पढ़ के उठा के देखें और पढ़ी ना तो आपको पता चलेगा कि वो कितनी आजकल की लेवल में वो एक सीईओ नहीं, एक प्रेसिडेंट सिर्फ एक कंपनी की नहीं बल्कि एक इलाके की थी. तो जब लोग ये कहते हैं ना कि औरतें स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं हो सकती, वो एंटरप्रेन्योरल नहीं हो सकती, उनके पास इंटेलिजेंट नहीं है, I can completely define that. I say absolutely not. ऐसा नहीं है. हमारा मजहब बिल्कुल औरतों को इजाजत देता है और बढ़ चढ़ के देता है. तो उसी पैशन में, उसी स्पिरिट में हम आज ये इवेंट सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं एंड इतनी ब्यूटीफुल औरतें हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं यहाँ पे. सो मैं सबसे पहले इनवाइट करूंगी ज़ारा को. ज़ारा शाह जो हैं वो यूके में बेस्ट हैं और मैं उन्हीं को बोलूंगी कि ज़ारा आप अपना थोड़ा सा इंट्रोडक्शन करिए और अपने बारे में हमें थोड़ा सा बताइए.
Thank you, Saida. Thank you for inviting me, and it's a real pleasure and an honor to be part of this initiative in Pakistan. I'll just I'm founder, non-executive director, and investor at CS, which is UK's leading privacy management platform. My background is in management consultancy. I spent a decade at Accenture within the financial services, capital market sector, working mostly with global investment banking clients, particularly in the area of RegTech and FinTech. And after moving on from Accenture as well, I've been involved, I think for some of the people here might know me, that I ran a charity in the UK called the British Pakistan Foundation. I'm still a trustee, and I've been involved in also running a property portfolio. So I've been on various different entrepreneurial ventures, as well as investing in a lot of ventures as well.
Brilliant. Thank you, Zara. Zara, मैं ये चाहूँगी कि आप थोड़ा सा हमें ये बताएं, what were your challenges? In fact, what encouraged you to start your own business, first of all?
I think if I just even look back in the area that I went in, which is technology and finance, I was at the LSE, I completed my master's at the LSE and then joined Accenture. And I noticed even at that time, there were not many women in my area. I think generally finance itself and technology itself are very male dominated professions. And there were hardly any women of Pakistani background at all. Even working in the city of London, working with people like Credit Suisse, UBS, HSBC, RBS, often I ended up being the only woman in my team with my clients and the only one of Pakistani background. And that is, I noticed there were a lot of stereotypes I came across. People would constantly ask me, you know, they didn't believe that I was from Pakistan. They said, no, you can't be from Pakistan. Pakistani women, they're not very go-getting. They're not very smart. They wear the hijab. They asked me whether I had a forced marriage. They said, oh, you speak English. So there were all these stereotypes. People would say, how come, your culture is allowing you to do that? We see women on TV, Pakistani women are so destitute and helpless. They're stuck at home. They're victims of abuse. They're not educated. they're not smart, they're not good looking. So all of these kind of stereotypes constantly were thrown at me, and it used to upset me a lot, because I had a very different experience. I've been surrounded, or I grew up with really amazing women around me from my country. So I guess media plays a very important role. So I feel that what Saida you're doing and what this national competition is doing is we need more initiatives like this that showcase the positive image of Pakistani women, and that counteract some of the negative stereotyping in the media, especially in the Western media that we see. So that was one of the main challenges that I faced, where I constantly came across these stereotypes. And yes, and I feel that one of the things that helped me, and I suppose that is very important for women in our culture, if not all women, is to have the support of the people around you, support of your family,
Absolutely.
support of. So I was very fortunate. I have a husband who is unconditionally supportive and encouraging. He pushes me more than I push myself. So he's the one who always says, no, you have to do this, you have to go forward. And my family members are very supportive. So I feel women need to have people around them, their family members, their husbands, their brothers, their fathers, their sons. The male members in the family must support them as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Okay, it's so important for women to have their male family members supporting them. सबसे ज़्यादा हौसला और सबसे ज़्यादा हिम्मत जो है वो I think हमारे males जो हैं वो हमें देते हैं. When things get tough, they really help you and support. Their support is really necessary. Zara, thank you so much for sharing your story and your journey with us. मैं अब invite करूँगी गुल को. गुल, आप थोड़ा सा हमें बताइए, because आप जो है आपने सारी अपनी businesses पाकिस्तान में start की, and हम तो फिर भी थोड़े ज़ारा और मैं lucky थे क्योंकि हम UK में रहते थे. We had the exposure to the Western culture and we knew that हमारे parents को भी वो exposure था, तो हमें शायद वो better understand करते थे. लेकिन पाकिस्तान में जहाँ आप बैठी हुई हैं इस वक्त हब में, आप हमें बताएं कि आपके साथ क्या challenges हुए और आपने किस तरीके से अपना business सबसे पहला start किया.
अच्छा, thank you so much, Saida. Can I share the screen?
Yes, absolutely. बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. I think Hassan आपको
has to give some rights.
जी गुल, अब आप कर सकती हैं.
Okay, thank you. So much everyone for joining here, and thank you so much Saida and Naila for this opportunity to speak. When somebody asks you for the journey you had or where you are now and how do you end up here, it's really a roller coaster ride. So I would like to take all of you and all those who are attending the session with me for this roller coaster ride, so that we can, you can actually see where did I start and then where I'm now and why I'm not stopping anymore. So I started off my own brand in 2003. It was mainly, the idea was कि हम handloom से matching bags and shoes बनाएंगे, and it went really well. As you said, what was the challenge? Challenge was that I had to close it down after 5 years due to certain reasons. But the bigger challenge was that I actually decided at that point in time that I'll restart it in any case. So I won't waste my initial struggle of 5-6 years. And then it happened, as I had a strong belief in this. So it happened, and I actually restarted it when I shifted to DHE to Islamabad. I restarted it as a multi-designer store. So now we have the services as like in Disler racks, we stock different designers from all over Pakistan. We are in discussion with few international brands also to bring them to Pakistan. So in Pakistan, we are in this side, like in DH and Bahria, we are the only multi-designer store. We have opened a new outlet in Bahria recently after the COVID. So on the other side, I was working in the education sector. I was teaching at all levels. I worked in different organizations in assessment sectors. So that actually, when you're working and, in my case, actually, whatever opportunity came to my end, I didn't say no. So wherever I want to, कहीं पे भी मुझे किसी project में engage होना था, किसी भी काम में करना था, कोई छोटा काम था, बड़ा काम था, I didn't see कि ये छोटा है या ये बड़ा है, ये मेरे level का है या नहीं है, इसमें लोग क्या कहेंगे, इसमें मैंने क्या करना है. I just said yes. And that actually ended up when I started off my own business with the name of Red Marker Systems. So in Red Marker Systems, as you see in this ethics startup, we claimed that we will transform the education through meaningful assessment. So why and how we claim that? Because as society, as parents, as teachers, we are very concerned for the results. Kitne number aaye, grades kaun se aaye, but we are not really concerned for the process or the system by which we are getting these results. So we end up like whatever students are coming out as a product, we are not developing the critical thinking, we are not developing the subject knowledge, we are not really focusing on learning outcomes. So we working in Red Marker Systems, we have tried to digitize the whole value chain of assessment sector. When we talk about assessment sector is कि पेपर आपका क्वेश्चन कहाँ बनेगा, फिर उससे पेपर कहाँ बनेगा, फिर पेपर चेक कंडक्ट कैसे होगा और फिर उसके बाद चेक कैसे होगा. So we have the solution for all of these products. कि आइटम डेवलपमेंट कैसे होगी, फिर आइटम बैंक डेवलपमेंट कैसे होगी, उससे पेपर जनरेशन कैसे होगी, फिर पेपर जनरेशन से आपकी पेपर कंडक्शन विद रिमोट प्रॉक्टरिंग कैसे होगी, और उसके साथ फिर आपके सब्जेक्टिव पेपर्स की चेकिंग स्पेशली कैसे होगी. वी हैड बीन वर्किंग विद बोर्ड्स, पाकिस्तान के बोर्ड्स के साथ अभी हम काम करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. वी हैव बीन वर्किंग विद पब्लिक सेक्टर, मेनली वी हैड इसके पीटीसीएल के साथ वी हैव साइंड एन एग्रीमेंट. वी हैव असल में हमारा बिजनेस जो था दैट वाज टोटली रिलेटेड टू एग्जामिनेशन. एंड व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड ऑफ अगेन दिस बिजनेस एंड मार्केटिंग दिस प्रोडक्ट, तो उस वक्त ये हुआ कि कोविड आ गया. So as you all know that COVID में exams नहीं हो रहे थे. So this was another challenge कि आपने business start किया, you are developing the few products since like 3-4 years, and then you are ending up nowhere because there are no examination and you are in lockdown and you are at home. But that actually, on the positive side, it brought a lot of acceptance for the online solutions. So that was in a way good for us also. These are the value addition where we are actually working. This is my team in Red Marker Systems. This is the interesting part where we are focused today, because we, in case of women entrepreneurs, we need to understand that when we are talking about women entrepreneurs, as you said, that you have started all the businesses in Pakistan. So we need to understand that Pakistan में जो ख़वातीन काम कर रही हैं, it's not at all easy for them. हर level पे आपको professional side पे, personal side पे, society के side से, हर तरफ से आपको बहुत सारे challenges हैं. So इसके लिए I have been working with women entrepreneurs since like last many years, and I have seen their problems and challenges and issues. And बहुत सारी ख़वातीन को मैंने business बंद करते हुए देखा, मैंने खुद business बंद किया. I went through a few failures also. So that actually led me to idea of Hamkar Social Enterprise, where we are trying to support the women, and we are trying to provide any kind of missing link which is there. For example, if you do not have any legal support, if you do not have any business support, if you do not have any marketing support, if you do not have the finance, if you do not have the market to display your product, so we are trying to do that. Interestingly, now we are working in this in like from real estate to different brands. We are working on this. This is another end. That on other side, एक side पे तो हम business कर रहे होते हैं, दूसरी side पे हम community development और अपना network development पर भी काम कर रहे हैं. So I was leading one of the chapters of Women Connected Women Pakistan since its start. और इसके साथ साथ रावलपिंडी Chamber of Commerce and Industry के साथ भी I'm associated, where I'm executive member right now. I'll just have to go through very quickly because this is again the same thing, so I'm not mentioning it again. So I don't know who is exactly in our audience at the moment, but as women entrepreneurs, we need to understand why we can't actually grow. Why we can't see any women entrepreneurs as industrialists, why we can't see women entrepreneurs as in women at C positions also. So we try कि हमें सब पता है, हमें कुछ पता करने की जरूरत नहीं. So we need to understand that we need to keep ourselves open for learning. Saida, if I'm running short of time, please let me know.
Another few minutes.
Okay. So then there is a jumping reason, mostly students के case में, and when you are starting off a new business, so you jump to the conclusion very quickly. So you don't have to jump to the conclusion very quickly. You have to understand that यहाँ पे जितनी ख़वातीन आज आपसे बात करेंगी, ये सब किसी न किसी experience 2-3 decades के experience से आपसे बात कर रही हैं. So you need to understand कि how to actually take the benefits of someone else's experience, और किस तरह से आप अपने business को, अपने idea को start कर सकते हैं, pursue कर सकते हैं और ले सकते हैं. As I've written vision here, I just jotted down a few points quickly so that I'm not forgetting.
Thank you. Gul. मैं आपसे ये पूछना चाहूंगी Gul, कि you obviously have had lots of businesses and you have a very versatile experience across different verticals. थोड़ा सा मैं ये पूछना चाहूंगी कि impact क्या होता है? I mean, जब औरतें business करती हैं तो अपने लिए तो करती हैं, लेकिन I think सबसे ज्यादा impact जो होता है वो society पे होता है. तो how do you see that your businesses over the years have impacted society?
See, one of the main impact I had on the society was that I'm working on community development. As I said, that I'm working with the main business community of Rawalpindi also. So in that case, we have a very strong footing, to support in real meaning with all these women entrepreneurs. Secondly, when we talk about women entrepreneurs, so we have to convince them that you don't have to work in an informal economy. You have to come to formal economy so that you can actually contribute to your country also. Most of the women entrepreneurs, it's not about them also, it's about the family and the society. वो उनको business register करने से भी वो डरते हैं. Business register कर लिया तो उसको grow करने से भी डरते हैं. Business register कर लिया तो उसको prioritize करने से भी डरते हैं. They keep it on the second priority. Network से भी डरते हैं. Network के अलावा फिर आप events में जाने से डरते हैं. आप collaboration से डरते हैं. You need to understand कि how do you have to grow with collaboration and with your network.
Well, thank you so much.
You have to confront your fears also.
You do. Definitely. I think this whole exercise of entrepreneurship for women is about really facing your fears, and that's what you have to do to move forward. Thank you so much, Gul, for sharing your knowledge and your wisdom with us. मैं invite करूंगी अब Fajr को. Fajr, would you like to join us?
Yes. Assalamu alaikum. Hi. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Familiar faces. Good to see everyone. And thank you, Saida, for the invite and the opportunity to speak. Some of you may know me, and those who don't, my name is Fajr Rabia Pasha. I currently head an organization in Pakistan. It's called Pakistan Alliance for Girls Education, and I'm also president for UK Pakistan Business Council Women Chapter for Pakistan. So I will be very quick. I'll try to be quick क्योंकि मैं फिर बोलना शुरू करूँ तो फिर बंदा बोलते ही जाता है. There's a lot of stories to tell.
फजर आप थोड़ा सा कैमरा नीचे कर सकती हैं. फेस कट रहा है जी. Okay. This is good.
Okay, perfect. So my journey started a long time back. I was very lucky to have exposure with my parents, with my mother especially, who was heading a trust in Pakistan. This is back in, I guess, 98, 97, around that time. I was a child then, a teenager. And but her trust worked with women from rural areas on their economic empowerment. And I had this great experience of traveling across Pakistan with her, especially into the rural areas, and really seeing firsthand what impact it can create on women's life if you can economically empower them, if you can educate them, if you can give them the skills, and how that can change their life. And that really sort of, I think, built that passion inside me. I wanted to continue doing that. It was such a sort of just a natural sort of, a path for me. So I then shifted to England, and I started up with my first social enterprise in Manchester, which was called Inspired Sisters. This is back in 2002. That really focused on, and that just happened, that there was no plan to do that, to start that, but it happened because I was there. I got married, I was there, and I saw that there were a lot of women from ethnic background, Muslim background, Bengalis, Pakistanis, Somalians, etc. But with no, but still so culturally bound. Back in those days, it was just, they were also facing a lot of cultural issues, and they had no access to education, training, development opportunities. They couldn't speak English. There were a lot of issues like that. So my ex-husband at that time, there was a government initiative called Learn Direct, and they had set up a lot of centers across the north of England. And I just asked them to loan me a couple of computers so I can just set up one room so women from that area could just come and access that training opportunity, but just in a safer women-only environment, because there was no concept of women-only environment for Muslim women especially. And it just really kicked off from there. And I ended up having an organization registered within 3 months with the name of Inspired Sisters. And it just grew. It just grew really, really quickly. And over the years, I did a lot of work with the government of UK, with the local authorities, with the central government on women empowerment, and especially women coming from deprived backgrounds, on their skills, giving them the skills, the education, the language, entrepreneurship, employment, all sorts of things. So it was just an amazing experience for me in terms of learning and being able to provide opportunities to women who otherwise just wouldn't have had that sort of opportunity at all. I then wanted to come to Pakistan. I started to come back to Pakistan again, and I just realized how much work needs to be done in Pakistan, because things seem to have a lot more deteriorated since I had left from Pakistan. The status of women, I think, when I was back here, back in those days, things were much better when we talked about women respect, women role in society, and that seemed to have just like really just got really messed up. And I felt really sort of, I felt that all that work that I've done in England and all these networks that we've built and all these, and we know how to address these challenges and problems. So we must bring all of that to Pakistan and see how we can help Pakistan change the role of women, really, and using the skills, you giving them the economic empowerment, helping them grow, etc., and just really making just changing their lives. And it so then happened that I made probably the biggest decision of my life, and I was told I'm probably the most stupid person, being I was a single mom back then, and it was like, you're a single mom moving to Pakistan with 2 kids. It's like, you don't do that, you don't do that kind of stuff. You don't leave England and you go to Pakistan just because you want to work in Pakistan. So it had its own challenges. You see, obviously, working in England as a single mom was a challenge itself, because even though I started off as because I had the passion to do this, but then when I became a single mom, I wanted to do even more because of my children. So that commitment, I think, grew. And when I came to Pakistan, it was obviously work environment was very different, completely different from England. But alhamdulillah, you see, over the years, we've managed to settle down here. It was a big challenge in the sense that, you're very established in a country or in a city, whatever, or in a sector, and then you leave all that and you start up all over again, complete, and in a even more difficult environment where women are not expected to be at the forefront. So it had its own, so it had its own challenges. But I think alhamdulillah, over the time, I think, the most important thing is that you remain consistent, you remain focused, because the challenges are always going to be there. And I want to leave a better world for my daughters. And I always think that, our generation, women of our generation, and even probably our daughters will have to do a lot of sacrifices before that environment is going to change, where women can grow. Like Gul was saying, why women can't grow and why women can't do bigger businesses. So, when we're talking about women entrepreneurship, I constantly see this fear in women. They don't want to grow. They're so scared. They can't take risks. There are a lot of challenges for women, and we really need to, overcome that fear and just let it go and just jump into it.
With you, Fajr, मैं ये कहूँगी कि it's so outstanding. मतलब मैं आपको almost तकरीबन 4-5 साल से जानती हूँ और मैंने आपका काम जो है follow कर रही हूँ. One of the things I find really inspiring about you is that हम औरतों में limited beliefs बहुत होती हैं कि हम समझते हैं हम नहीं कर पाएंगे. But you really challenge that and you really take that to that next level. I never see you saying कि नहीं मैं नहीं कर सकती. You always keep pushing the boundaries. How do you do that?
I think it's all about that belief in yourself. And I really, there are days when I get frustrated. I wouldn't say that there are days when I think that how will this happen? For example, I'm working on girls' education, and this is a huge challenge in the country. There's such a gap. There is nobody's ready to support. There's a lot of talk, but when there's no real action on ground, and it's very frustrating, right? And there are days when I think, it's how in this country things are going to change. But you know what? I tell you what, I think it's a faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I really believe in that. I think that has really sort of pulled me through in my hard times as a single mom, right? I've seen a lot of problems and challenges, and that's okay. But I think that faith has really made me strong, and that faith had really helped build confidence in myself that I can do whatever I want to do. So at times I make a joke that, you know what, I think I want to be Prime Minister of Pakistan, because otherwise I don't think nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to change. And I need to come forward. So just as a joke, you see. So I don't want to, have everybody political after me thinking I want to be the Prime Minister. I don't want to have very focused, ambitions and plans. But I think
why not? Why not have those ambitions? Yeah, sky's the limit.
Sky is, yes. I mean, actually, you can break those barriers, and you can, go forward. And I keep saying, I think, if I can do it, I think anybody can do it. And the amount of problems I've seen, I think everyone has those challenges. Everyone has their own challenges. I don't know any woman around me who has not seen a problem, regardless of how rich family she comes from or poor family. Everybody has their problems. So I think as women, we need to accept that. We need to agree with the fact that, yes, Saida would have her own problems, and Nausheen may have her own problems, and Gul may have her own problems, and be acceptable and supportive towards that. So a lot of time, for example, it's very busy. A lot of time I'm not able to respond, because there's just only so much time in a day. I have 5 children, mashallah. So there's a lot of family life, there's a lot of, work, and a lot of things going on all the time. So a lot of time, women start, around me start to complain. And I think I try and do whatever I can, but there's only so much I can do. And women also need to understand each other problems and challenges, and be very, I think, supportive in that sense. So I think these are the sort of things, but it's just because I think everybody is going through so much trouble as a female entrepreneur. Especially, I think they're going through so much trouble, and they need that. They're so desperate for that help. And, one person can only do so much. And if you look in Pakistan, you'll only find a few women who are there, who are actually helping women entrepreneurs. And you're talking about millions of women here. Yes, we need that. We need that. Yes, so we need to build that sort of, support network. I think we need a much bigger network. So I think this is amazing. We need to do things like this more regularly. And we need to be able to try and support whoever we can, but bring more women into this, who can support us.
And what would you say, हमारी audience इस वक्त जो female audience हमें देख रही है फजर, आप उनको क्या कहेंगी? आप एक advice अगर उनको देंगी, तो आप क्या कहेंगी उन्हें कि entrepreneurship के हवाले से आप क्या कहना चाहेंगी?
I would say that entrepreneurship is a very difficult journey. Right? And there is no easy way for anyone, may that be a male or a female, but a woman would face more challenges and more barriers. But don't give up, because, the path is not going to be just a straight road down that you can just drive down and you'll get to your destination. It's never going to be like that. So a lot of patience is required, a lot of faith is required in yourself, and
a lot of hard work. And hard work. And we wouldn't change it for the world, right? हम दोबारा से अगर कोई हमें बोले कि journey करें, तो I would do it all over again and 10 times more.
Absolutely.
Yes. Fajr, thank you so much for your time and your wise wisdom and your wise words. I'm going to move swiftly on to Zarish, and I know Zarish is in also where अपने आप को welcome on the event. Zarish, can you hear us? आप mute पे हैं.
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry.
Hi. Thank you for joining us. I know आप भी बहुत busy रहती हैं. और Zarish, मेरा आपका जो इत्तेफाक से मिलना हुआ है वो इस event के हवाले से हुआ है, तो मुझे मौका ही नहीं मिला कि मैं ज़्यादा कुछ आपके background के बारे में चेक कर सकूं, लेकिन I've been recommending, 2-4 लोगों ने आपका नाम बार-बार मेरे पास सामने आ रहा था, तो I said I have to bring Zarish onto this event. So tell us a
That's
little
an
bit about
honor.
yourself, your history, and how you got involved in IT.
Actually, basically, I started. My father was a businessman, so I had that feeling of doing something of my own, and wanted to do something for Pakistan. So my main ambition was to be a part of maybe Pakistan Army or something. I was more into sports and stuff like that. So, but at a point, I realized that my parents were more into that. You're a girl and you won't be able to excel in sports and stuff, and you have to get married right after your graduation and stuff like that. So one of my teachers told me it's better that you pursue career. You're intelligent enough that you should select a field and then you should move on towards that field. That was a time in my O levels that I decided that I will choose computer sciences as my majors. So I started up doing my majors in computer sciences in O levels, pursued doing that in A levels. And by the time I did my A levels, I was pretty much confident now whatever I will do in computer sciences. I did my BScs from LUMS in after doing that, I did a job in mobiling for like roughly, you would say, for a year. But I realized that this is not my piece of cake and I cannot say, yes, boss. So I went to Australia, to Southern Cross University to do an MBA. Did my MBA from there because I knew to start up with my entrepreneur journey, I have to have a business mindset as well because I have taken the technical skills. Now I need to have business skills as well. And I need to build more contacts. So I stayed in Australia for like 3 years over there, did my MBA, built in contacts, came back to Pakistan, started up with my software house. Luckily, I got uh, married with a person who was also from an IT background. Me and my husband, my ex-husband, I would say, started up with a software house. And initially it wasn't that easy because at that time when we started off there wasn't much of mentorship available or funding at that time, so majority of the funding was done by my father. He supported me for a year or so and then he said that now I won't be able to do any longer, now you have to do it on your own. But I was so much passionate that I just kept on going all the way through the hardships. It was a roller coaster ride. And Alhamdulillah, by like 2 to 3 years, I was able to stabilize my company. And today I have a strength of 100 employees in my company. And in year 2020, I was being awarded as the best female uh, developers company by APAC.
Wow,
So
that's amazing.
yeah, so and that was the thing maybe that my husband wasn't able to take it, that you are becoming the front face of the company and everyone knows you, and and issues started to come up that he wasn't able to accept that a female can be a good entrepreneur and I'm as a male I'm not being that successful. So actually then we parted off. So I am currently going through that phase and recovering through that phase, that actually what happened, because things were going so fine between me and him, and only because I was a female and I was more successful than him, things just went like no one would expect. So
And unfortunately,
today,
ये scenario जो है, can I just, हाँ, please आप सब mute हो जाएं अगर आप नहीं बात करें तो. पर Zarish, unfortunately ये जो आप कह रही हैं कि जहाँ पे a lot of women, a lot of us who are successful in our careers unfortunately do experience these events. लेकिन मेरा ये मानना है कि actually अगर इस टाइप का कुछ होता है तो that वो पार्टनरशिप शायद सही पार्टनरशिप थी ही नहीं, राइट? सो आपके लिए आप म्यूट पे हैं. Zarish, you're on mute. आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on this point that if he wasn't able to handle his wife's success, it's his problem, because in in 12 years of my journey, I have my company in USA, Canada, and UK. Other than that, I became an active member. I met Khurram Zuberi as well. He is CEO Jumpstart, and Amjad Pervez Saab, he is the chairman Jumpstart as well. I met him on my journey as well, and they selected me as General Secretary Lahore Division. So I am looking after all the operations that are run for the startup ecosystem as far as Jumpstart is concerned. So I'm involved with the startups as well. I'm dealing with different universities, and then I am working on our youth personal grooming as well. So then went next step to Islamabad, and I had big alliances with companies like Neatel, and then I was a part of Ignite. I I was then I was invited by HEC Arshad Ali to be part of SIG, in which blockchain was implemented. And basically, he was planning to introduce blockchain system in all the universities, HEC recognized universities in Pakistan. I was part of that team as well, and I was working directly with IBA. IBA Sakhar students, and IBM was a part of that team as well. So I think all that success and all that things that were coming came as a uh, maybe as a success to me, but he wasn't taking it as he was taking it as an not as a good way. So things I don't regret anything for that. I don't have any regrets
Yeah.
actually.
And Zarish, agar aapse main ye पूछूं कि what would be one advice that you will give to our female entrepreneurs on the call today? तो आपके क्या एक advice, एक recommendation क्या होगी? Words of
I would
wisdom.
recommend that being a female entrepreneur is a very tough journey, because when you are doing your own business, it is a roller coaster ride, and if you are stuck, and if you are firm in your beliefs, if you are firm in your mission, you will succeed one day. And at the day you will succeed, you will realize which people are really after you, which really were behind your success, because you will have a lot of fake faces saying that we are with you. But when success comes, success brings the real story, and success brings the real people out. Their body language comes in front of you. So you will realize at that time the people which are with you and which are not with you. So
Zarish, thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. It's very inspiring, and I know you've had a tough journey, like most of us. But and you've given us so much motivation and so much hope for women entrepreneurs of Pakistan, and we look up to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
I have
I would like to know.
I have one more suggestion, that never give
Gigi,
up.
go for it.
Even if someone is telling you, I will be with you, but you have to leave your field and you have to, give all your success and your business to me. Tell that person, it's better to be with whatever I have achieved so far. You leave. It's better that you leave. I will manage my things by my own self, rather
Absolutely.
than giving up
Absolutely.
as being a woman.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it really does pay off. Thank you so much, Sarish. Thank you so much for your input. हम चलते हैं सना की तरफ. Sana is, I'm so proud to have Sana with us today, because Sana हमारी एक छोटी सी entrepreneur है इस वक्त हम सबके बीच में, जिन्होंने अपनी journey start की है, और इन्होंने actually हमारे साथ ही start की थी, right? Sana, आपने हमारे साथ ही अपनी journey start की थी. I remember the first session when आपने आके अपनी pitch की थी, so you were so nervous and you could barely get your words out, but look at you today, right? आप national TV पे आ गई हैं. So tell us a little bit about your journey.
Assalamu alaikum everyone.
वालेकुम अस्सलाम.
Let's
आप
introduce
mute
myself.
पे हैं. अच्छा इधर से बोलिए. ठीक है, समझ गई मैं, समझ गई.
Okay, ma'am.
ठीक है, बोले।
Okay.
सना आपने अनम्यूट करना है।
Now it's okay.
यस।
जी अब आपकी आवाज आ रही है।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम एवरीवन, मेरा नेम सना तारिक है और मैं स्मार्ट ट्रैप की फाउंडर हूँ। मेरे साथ मेरी को फाउंडर हैं डॉक्टर आयशा हकीम और वो मेरी सुपरवाइजर है। रिसेंटली मैंने अपना एमएस कंप्लीट किया है कंप्यूटर साइंस में नवाज शरीफ यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर मुल्तान से। और मैंने अपनी जर्नी स्टार्ट की थी आज से तकरीबन 2 साल पहले। और सर हसन सईद, जिस तरह मैम ने भी कहा, मैम सईदा, तो इन सब ने मुझे देखा है मेरी कंप्लीट जर्नी में मैंने किस तरह स्टार्ट किया था। तो मेरा जो स्मार्ट ट्रैप बेसिकली जो मेरा बिजनेस है जिसको स्टार्ट कर रही हूँ, स्मार्ट ट्रैप बेसिकली एक डिवाइस है जो ऑनलाइन मॉनिटरिंग परफॉर्म करती है फ्लाइंग इंसेक्ट्स की। फ्लाइंग इंसेक्ट्स एग्रीकल्चर से रिलेटेड है। हमने एक डिवाइस डिजाइन की है जो बेसिकली आईओटी और आईओटी एंड एआई बेस्ड सिस्टम है जो डिटेक्शन परफॉर्म करता है, जिसमें स्पीशीज आइडेंटिफिकेशन एंड डिफरेंट सेंसर्स हमने यूज किए हैं। इस पे जो पाकिस्तान हर साल जो है वो $200 मिलियन जो लॉस कर रहा है फ्लाइंग इंसेक्ट्स के अटैक की वजह से, हम उसे सेव कर सकते हैं। और पाकिस्तान की जो फ्रूट्स एंड वेजिटेबल्स की एक्सपोर्ट है हम उसे इम्प्रूव कर सकते हैं। बेसिकली जब मैंने ये जर्नी स्टार्ट की तो मैं रिसर्चर थी उस टाइम, मेरा एमएस का मैं अपना रिसर्च कर रही थी। तो मैंने इस आइडिया को अपनी सुपरवाइजर के साथ अपना स्टार्ट किया। तो मेरे साथ इशू ये हुआ फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल कि मैं एज ए रिसर्चर काम कर रही थी, मुझे बिजनेस एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप से रेलिवेंट कोई आइडिया नहीं था कि किस तरह काम करना है, कैसे स्टार्ट लेना है। बट पासिंग टाइम जिस तरह हमने पाकिस्तान 100 में अप्लाई किया, पाकिस्तान आइडिया जस्ट में, तो उनके बूट कैंप में हमारी सिलेक्शन हुई। सर हसन सईद हमारे इंस्ट्रक्टर थे, उन्होंने हमें बहुत कुछ समझाया। इट मींस वो 5 डेज मेरे लिए वंडरफुल थे और उनमें मैंने बहुत कुछ सीखा सर हसन से, और वो आज तक मैं इम्प्लीमेंट कर रही हूँ। इट मींस थोड़ा बहुत मतलब लाइफ में अप्स एंड डाउन आते हैं। मेरी फैमिली मुझे सपोर्ट नहीं कर रही थी स्टार्ट में, इवन मुझे बूट कैंप में जाने की परमिशन नहीं मिल रही थी, बट कोरोना की वजह से वो ऑनलाइन हो गया। देन उस बूट कैंप को हमने विन किया मेरी टीम ने। मैम ने मुझे बहुत सपोर्ट किया, मेरी जो सुपरवाइजर हैं उन्होंने हमेशा मुझे साथ लेके चला है। कभी मतलब इस तरह फील नहीं हुआ कि मतलब वो मेरी सुपरवाइजर है, उन्होंने हमेशा मेरा साथ दिया हर चीज में। और मैम आयशा की वजह से, सर हसन की वजह से, मेरे सब टीचर्स जिन्होंने मुझे सपोर्ट किया, देन हमने पाकिस्तान 100 बूट कैंप विन किया। और उसके बाद मेरी फैमिली ने मुझे सपोर्ट करना शुरू कर दिया, क्योंकि हम अपने पैशन से और अपनी स्ट्रगल से किसी को भी बता सकते हैं, किसी के सामने खुद को प्रूव कर सकते हैं, चाहे वो आपकी फैमिली हो या चाहे सोसाइटी हो। मेरा पॉइंट ये है इससे रेलिवेंट। और मेरा सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज ही यही था कि मुझे बिजनेस टर्म्स का नहीं पता था। और सेकेंडली जिस तरह पाकिस्तान में फार्मर्स हैं उन्हें टेक्नोलॉजी रिलेटेड इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं है ज़्यादा, तो उन्हें टेक्नोलॉजी रिलेटेड गाइड करना, इस ट्रैप के बारे में बताना, वो थोड़ा सा मेरे लिए टफ टाइम था। बट जिस तरह यूनिवर्सिटी है हमारी एग्रीकल्चर यूनिवर्सिटी है, तो हमारे डीसी सर ने बहुत सपोर्ट किया हमें, उन्होंने डिफरेंट फार्मर्स के साथ हमारा कांटेक्ट करवाया ताकि हम इस प्रोजेक्ट को आगे लेके जा सकें। एंड नेक्स्ट वन, बाकी हमने बहुत से मतलब, जी मैम आप कुछ कहना चाहती हैं?
मैं ये चाह रही थी सना, आप थोड़ा सा हमें ये बता दें कि आइडिया आया कैसे, बिकॉज हमारे ऑडियंस को इस वक्त जिस मकाम पे ये लोग खड़े हैं, ये सब इनको कोई आइडिया सबमिट करवानी है। हमारी जो ये कंपटीशन चल रही है नेशनल आइडिया बैंक के हवाले से, तो हम चाहते हैं कि ज्यादा से ज्यादा जो खवातीन है इसमें हिस्सा लें। तो आप मुझे ये बताएं कि सबसे पहले ये जो इंस्पिरेशन थी, ये आइडिया था, आया कैसे, एंड हाउ डिड यू टेक इट टू दैट नेक्स्ट लेवल, वो प्रोसेस क्या था?
ओके मैम, एक्चुअली जब ये आइडिया था, बेसिकली हम एग्रीकल्चर यूनिवर्सिटी से हैं, तो मैम डिफरेंट फार्मर्स जो हैं वो कांटेक्ट हमारी यूनिवर्सिटी से करते हैं अपनी प्रॉब्लम से रिलेटेड। तो मैम मेरी जो सुपरवाइजर है, तो वो एक दिन ऑफिस में डीसी सर के साथ मीटिंग करी थी। देन एक फार्मर ने उन्हें कहा कि हमें जो है वो फ्लाइंग इंसेक्ट्स का बहुत इशू है, फ्रूट फ्लाइज का, जिसकी वजह से हमारी क्रॉप काफी अफेक्ट हो रही है। एंड देन मैम आयशा ने जब ये मुझसे डिस्कस किया, देन हमने इस पे काम करना शुरू किया कि हम इस तरह की कोई डिवाइस बनाएंगे जिसपे जो फ्लाइंग इंसेक्ट्स है बेसिकली हम उनको कंट्रोल कर सके। मैम स्टार्ट में काफी इश्यूज रहे, हमें फेस करने पड़े, लेकिन टाइम टू टाइम हमने उस पर रिसर्च किया, उसका मार्केट सर्वे किया, हमने टेक्नोलॉजीज देखी कि कौन सी न्यू टेक्नोलॉजीज को बेसिकली हम कर सकते हैं यूज। और मेरी की स्किल्स भी मैम इसी में है, एआई एंड डीप लर्निंग में, जो हमने बेसिक टेक्नोलॉजीज यूज की हैं। मैम इस आइडिया को ग्रूम अप होते तकरीबन 2 साल लग चुके हैं, उसमें छोटी छोटी मिस्टेक्स सेट करते हुए, क्योंकि कोई भी आइडिया परफेक्ट नहीं होता स्टार्टिंग स्टेज पे, उस पर स्ट्रगल करनी पड़ती है। आप जितनी स्ट्रगल करते हैं, आप जितनी मेहनत करते हैं, वो उतना प्योर हो जाता है आइडिया।
Thank you so much, Sana, for sharing your journey. और हमें कुछ आप अपनी जो fellow audience है ladies की, इसको कुछ आप कुछ कहना चाहेंगी, कोई recommendations, को words of wisdom?
Yes, ma'am. मैम मैं अपना एक छोटा सा एक्सपीरियंस शेयर करूंगी। मैं अब जब यूनिवर्सिटी में मैम कहीं जाती हूँ तो मुझे मेरी जो जूनियर्स हैं बीएस की एमएस की, वो पूछती हैं रुककर कि अच्छा वो सन है जिसका टीवी पर इंटरव्यू आ रहा होता है। इट मीन्स मैम वो एक बहुत प्राउड मूवमेंट होता है एक स्ट्रगल का। फिर मैं उन्हें बताती हूँ कि आप भी इसकी तरफ मूव करें, आप न्यू टेक्नोलॉजीज देखें, स्टडी करें उन्हें, देन आप आगे मूव कर सकती हैं। क्योंकि मैम हम मुझे लगता है कि हम जितना यूनिवर्सिटी लेवल पे, कॉलेज लेवल पे स्टूडेंट्स को सपोर्ट करेंगे मैम, उतना ही वो आगे जाएंगे। हमें उन्हें मैम स्टार्टिंग से ही उन्हें बताना होगा कि आप वुमेन एंटरप्रेन्योर बन सकती हैं, आप कुछ कर सकती हैं, आपको चीजों को फेस करना है, आपने स्ट्रगल करनी है। अगर जैसे हम उन्हें बुक वर्म बनने का कहेंगे, जैसे आप बुक्स को रीड करें या इस तरह नहीं करें, मैम वो थोड़ा सा उनके लिए डिफिकल्ट हो जाएगा आगे जाके। तो बेस्ट वे ये है उन्हें अभी से ही स्ट्रगल की आदत डाली जाए।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल। एंड बिल्कुल ये दिमाग में रखें कि ऑल्दो ये जर्नी जो आप एम्ब्रेस करने वाले हैं कि ये मुश्किल तो है लेकिन इतनी रिवॉर्डिंग है, इतनी फुलफिलमेंट आपको फील होती है जब आप एक दफा ये सफर शुरू कर देते हैं। आई फील के इतने चैलेंजेस मैंने अपनी जिंदगी में फेस किए हैं। आई ऑलमोस्ट वाज बैंकरप्टेड, नॉट वंस बट ट्वाइस, लेकिन फिर भी आई जस्ट फील कि आई विल ऑलवेज गो बैक and be अपनी ही बिजनेस में करूंगी और अपनी entrepreneur ही बनूंगी। You know, they say कि either you work towards building your dreams or somebody will take you and get you to build their dreams. The choice is yours. या तो आप दूसरों के ख्वाब पूरे करें या आप अपने ख्वाब पूरे करें। And I think सना हम में से एक ही हैं जो अपने ख्वाबों पे मेहनत कर रही हैं और अपने ख्वाब पूरा कर रही हैं। So Sana, thank you so much for joining us. I will now go towards Rama. Rama, thank you for joining us today. How are you?
Hello. Hi, Saida. बहुत मेहरबानी. I'm very happy to be a part of this group. My name is Rama Chima and I'm the founder for Social Impact Organization. So मुझे आप इस सारे ग्रुप में एक मीडिया एंटरप्रेन्योर के नाम से जान सकती हैं.
Fantastic, and we needed that. So Rama, थोड़ा सा अपनी जर्नी के बारे में बताएं. What's been your journey? What was the inspiration? मीडिया क्यों चूज किया आपने इतनी competitive environment में पाकिस्तान में, एंड जहाँ पे ये फील्ड औरतों के लिए बहुत नेगेटिवली लिया जाता है, तो थोड़ा सा अपना शेयर करें आप हमारे साथ.
आई एम फ्रॉम चीचावतनी, बिल्कुल ये साउथ पंजाब की बेल्ट को लगता है. हम 3 बहनें थी. सो ये बताया गया कि जो शायद मेरा स्टेटस जो था वो लड़कों वाला नहीं था. छोटे इलाकों में आपकी मोबिलिटी जो होती है, ये एक्सेस होती है और लिमिटेड हो जाती है. सारी फैमिलीज कोशिश करती हैं अपनी बच्चियों को तालीम दें, रिसोर्सेज दें, मगर उसके साथ साथ सोसाइटी के प्रेशर होते हैं, आपके जितने भी स्टेक होल्डर्स इसके अलावा होते हैं उनकी एक जो है ना ट्रीटमेंट आपकी तरफ होती है. तो वो मैंने भी सफर की. सो इंटरनलाइज कर लिए सारे वो जो मिसोजिनिस्टिक वैल्यूज थे अपने में. मेरा ख्याल है जब बच्ची एक पैदा होती है, बच्चा वो ख्वाब लेके ही पैदा होता है, मगर आहिस्ता आहिस्ता वो जो बाकी फैक्टर्स होते हैं वो बताते हैं कि शायद ख्वाब आपको थोड़े से चेंज करने पड़ेंगे. लड़की ये कर सकती है, लड़का वो कर सकता है. एंड लाइक यू सेड, मीडिया में आने से पहले सबने इख्तलाफ किया. शायद वो अपने में खुद यकीन था मुझे कि ये मैंने करना है बिकॉज ये मेरे लिए मौजू फील्ड है. इसके अलावा सब ने रेजिस्ट किया बिकॉज उन्होंने कहा लड़कियों के लिए अच्छा माहौल अच्छा नहीं होता, बहुत ज्यादा चैलेंजेस हो गए, कैसे करो. तो शायद जिद में ही मैंने किया बिकॉज एक रिबेलियस स्ट्रीक थी. और इसके साथ मैं ये कहूंगी सईदा बहुत चैलेंजेस आए, बट मैं हमेशा कहती हूँ कि बहुत खूबसूरत लगता है कि जब हमें बड़ी बड़ी इंस्पिरेशन और एग्जांपल्स दी जाती हैं, मगर रमा को फर्क तब पड़ेगा जब उसकी सहेली करेगी, जब उसका कॉलीग, उसके अपने इर्द गिर्द जो खवातीन है वो अचीव करेंगी. बड़ी बड़ी जो एग्जांपल्स हैं उनसे मैं रेलेवेंस या नहीं डिराइव कर सकती. आई एम सो हैप्पी टुडे. ये आइडिया बैंक जो नेशनल आइडिया बैंक है, और वो मुझे पता है कि जब हम ये कहते हैं ना कि काश हमारे टाइम पे ये होता, बट एब्सोल्युटली ट्रू. जो प्लेटफॉर्म ये अब लड़कियों को दे रहा है, एकेडेमिया को, इंडस्ट्री को और एक्सपर्ट्स को एक साथ ला के, वो नहीं था मेरे टाइम पे. आप जो अवेयरनेस है, अपॉर्चुनिटीज है, मेंटोर्स हैं, सपोर्टिंग मैकेनिज्म्स हैं, और स्पेशली विद दिस प्रोजेक्ट एंड आई सी इनक्रेडिबल अपॉर्चुनिटी हियर. एंड सो बहुत अच्छी चीज है कि आप लोग ये कर रहे हैं. एंड इसके साथ साथ देखें, साउथ ईस्ट एशिया नहीं पूरी दुनिया में खवातीन और बच्चियों के चैलेंजेस हैं. सो इट्स नॉट समथिंग दैट हम ये नहीं कहना चाहेंगे सिर्फ पाकिस्तान रेलेवेंट ये इश्यूज चल रहे हैं. जैसे कि इधर तालीम के शोबे से खवातीन हैं, बिजनेस वुमेन हैं. सो हम सारों का एक कलेक्टिव गोल तो यही है कि एम्पावरमेंट की तरफ हम चलें. और हमेशा ये भी कहा जाता है कि खवातीन हमें हमारे पे एडिड प्रेशर्स ये होते हैं कि हमें एक परफेक्ट लाइफ क्रिएट करनी है, एक अच्छी शादी निभानी है, बच्चे पैदा करने हैं. आई सफर फ्रॉम acute endometriosis and I also have neurological disorders. But having said that, मैंने इस चीज को अभी अपने आगे बैरियर नहीं कभी भी हायल नहीं होने दिया, बिकॉज मुझे लगता था कि ये इसके साथ ही चलना है. मतलब मुश्किलें वो कहते हैं ना इतनी हुई कि आसान हो गई, क्योंकि जहाँ इतनी मुश्किलात आ रही होती है ना एकदम से एक अच्छी चीज हो जाती है, वो आपका ऐसा एनर्जी बिल्ड कर देती है कि आप एक वो चलते रहते हैं, तसलसल आपका बरकरार रहता है. इसके अलावा जैसे आपने पहले कहा, आई थिंक इट्स ओके टू सीक हेल्प. एज बडिंग एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हमें लगता है कि हमें मदद मांगते हुए हमें कुछ होगा, फिर हमारी अवेयरनेस नहीं होती. इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि ये सब एरियाज जो हैं हम लोग एक्सप्लोर करें.
अच्छा, आई ऑल्सो थिंक रमन, हम लेडीज में ये भी होता है कि हम चाहते हैं कि कोई भी काम करने से पहले हम वो करें, इसको परफेक्ट होना चाहिए. सो ये चीज मैंने नोट की कि हमारे अंदर ये होता है कि ओ हम करेंगे, नेक्स्ट ईयर करेंगे जब सब कुछ ठीक हो जाएगा, लेकिन और बेहतर वक्त का इंतजार करते हैं, लेकिन वो वक्त कभी नहीं आता. सो हमने वो काम जो है, जो भी हमने अपने लिए सोचा है, वो अभी आज करना है. सो व्हाट डू यू थिंक, आपका क्या ख्याल है इस बारे में?
देखें, ये तो बिहेवियरल प्रेशर्स है ना हमारे पे. कुछ पेट्रियार्कल प्रेशर्स होते हैं, कुछ हमने ऊपर खुद मुसल्लत किए हुए हैं, बिकॉज हमें लगता है कि हम लोग जो है ना, हम लोग पैलेटेबल तब है, हम लोग अच्छे तब लगेंगे जब हम सब एरिया में परफेक्शन करें. मल्टीटास्किंग का भी एक हमारे पे डाल दिया जाता है, women are better multitaskers. I don't think that's scientifically correct. I think anybody can be good at multitasking. हम किसी को कह नहीं रहे कि वो ना करें. तो ये सारे प्रेशर्स हम खुद करते हैं, अपने ऊपर खुद लाते हैं. और देखें, जैसे आपने कहा, इधर इतनी खूबसूरत बातें मैंने आज सुनी, जहां मर्दों ने या औरतों ने मुसीबतें हायल की हमारी जिंदगी में, उसी तरह वो हमारे सपोर्टिंग मैकेनिज्म्स भी बने, हमारे मेंटर्स बने, हमारी गाइडिंग लाइट बने. मैं सिर्फ ये भी कहती हूँ कि इतनी अपॉर्चुनिटी है बाहर. मुझे बेटी के प्लेटफॉर्म से लड़कियां लिखती हैं हम क्या करें, और मैं यही कहती हूँ कि अब तो मतलब द स्काई इज द लिमिट. स्कॉलरशिप आपको मिल सकती है, लोन्स आपको मिल सकते हैं, आप अपनी बिल्कुल रीराइट कर सकते हैं जर्नी, जो शायद 10 years ago, 15 years ago जब हम शुरू कर रहे थे, तब मेरे लिए ये पॉसिबिलिटीज नहीं थी. फिर नॉर्मलाइज हो गई हैं बहुत सी चीजें. अब देखिए, इतनी प्यारी उन्होंने एग्जाम्पल दी, सना ने एग्रीकल्चर में गई हैं. मेरा अपना एक एग्री बेस्ड फैमिली से ताल्लुक है, जिम्मेदार फैमिली से ताल्लुक है. शायद मेरे अब्बा अभी भी, आई लव माई पेरेंट्स, मगर वो जब अभी मैं अपने इलाके में जाती हूँ तो वो अब्बू की कोशिश यही होती है हम घर के अंदर ही रहे, और मतलब पर्दे में. एंड मैं उनकी कल्चरल सेंसिबिलिटीज को रिस्पेक्ट करती हूँ. मेरा बाप है, मेरी माँ की इज्जत, मेरी बाप की इज्जत सर आंखों पे. हैविंग सेड दैट, इट्स वेरी वेरी नाइस टू सी कि जितने भी ये ग्लास सीलिंग्स हैं, जितने भी ये चीजें हैं जो हमें लगता है पीछे की तरफ लेके जा रही हैं, हायल बन रही हैं, वो लड़कियां तोड़ रही हैं. सना बीइंग वन ऑफ द एग्जांपल.
Absolutely, and I think एक चीज आपने कही कि जो नैरेटिव है women entrepreneurs का, वो really change हो रहा है, right? And I think more and women are coming forward and supporting other women. इस टाइप के नेटवर्क्स की हमें बहुत ज्यादा जरूरत है. जिस तरीके से इसी प्लेटफॉर्म पे मैं जिस प्लेटफॉर्म में मेंबर हूँ, पाक 100 की, वहां पे we have some amazing women, नाइला है, आयशा है, उस्मा है, ये औरतें हम सब जो हैं, we contribute, we try our utmost to help female entrepreneurs as much as we possibly can. So I think वो mindset भी change हो रहा है. पहले ये होता था कि भाई औरतें औरतों की मदद नहीं करती हैं, वो चीज अब नहीं है. Women are becoming much more aware of this negative narrative, और अब उसको change करने में quite actively उसको change करने में अब लगी हुई है. So thank you so much, Rama.
And Saida, just one last thing that I'd like to add. ये ग्रुप क्यों आज आया है कि हम लोग एक दूसरे की सपोर्ट बन सके. सो आई एम एब्सोल्युटली अवेलेबल टू whoever is watching. कोई मेरी मदद कभी भी चाहिए हो, आई एम ऑल हियर, whatever humble capacity that I can, because that's the entire purpose of this conversation.
Thank you so much, and that's very kind of you to say and offer. And that's the spirit, right? We are all here for each other. Acha, swiftly, I'm going to move over to Sarah Qureshi. I know actually सबसे पहले हमारी speaker थी Sarah. So welcome on welcome onto the platform and onto the event. I know you've had few challenges, but you've, despite that, आपने हमें join किया आज. So thank you so much. थोड़ा सा आप हमें बताएं, because aero engineering for women, my God, that's not even heard of in the Western world, right? वो वहाँ पे भी इतना remote है. So please tell me, आपने कैसे इस journey को, इस concept को embrace किया, and what is your journey like?
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much for inviting me to this forum. I'm really enjoying this all-women conversation because mera field itna there are hardly any women, so it's all so male-dominated कि मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है जब एक खवातीन की कोई महफिल होती है. You know, it's बहुत अच्छी बातें मुझे लगी, and you know, it's a little more casual as well. My story is a bit of a roller coaster, but you know, I'll try to narrate it in this short time. I hope you can hear me well.
Sorry, मैं खुद mute. Yes, we can hear you really well. Okay. Carry on, sir.
Great. Okay, so basically, I grew up in a very both my parents were scientists, and my mother was a professor in science. So I grew up in this very good environment, very encouraging environment from a very early age. And I had this interest in science and technology and aircraft. तो घर से तो मैं अच्छा माहौल मिला शुरू से. The first time I faced a challenge was when I opted for mechanical engineering for my undergraduate. And वहाँ पे कहा गया कि जो यूनिवर्सिटी थी नास्ट EME कॉलेज में, उन्होंने कहा कि हम लड़कियों को मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग में नहीं रखते. So that was like the first battle I had to fight, and my father was very supportive. और उन्होंने बात की, and you know, he tried to do whatever had to be done, and they took me in. I was the only girl in a class of 60 boys, or you know, that's how it started. But I think it just kind of you know, एक वो शुरू से एक आपकी training ऐसे हो जाती है. And then I worked in the industry, in factories. There were a lot of men workers. लेकिन मुझे ये feel हुआ कि yes, there were challenges. I wouldn't say कि कभी challenge नहीं था, but जो support थी, that was always more than the challenge. And you know, if you keep a professional attitude, you know, people also try to take you professionally. तो खैर मैंने अपनी studies complete की, and then I worked in the industry for some time. I enrolled in a flying club. I learned flying and became a private pilot as well. After that, I got my scholarship to UK for my master's in aerospace engineering. वहाँ भी मैं जब गई तो you know, they used to, because it's like a study of aircraft, so they give like 2 flights to every engineer to get them the feel of the aircraft. But I was already a pilot, so I told the instructor that I want to spin the aircraft. That's like, you know, flying it upside down. And he said it's a bit intimidating, but then, you know, he taught me acrobatic flying, जो आप Air Force के air shows वगैरह में देखते हैं, when you know, do all those aerobatics and fly the plane upside down. Or फिर वो you know, he used to tell me that you know, it's so strange that a girl like you from Pakistan is doing this. तो मैं उनको कहती थी कि पाकिस्तान कोई गांव तो नहीं है कि हम खवातीन ये सब कुछ नहीं कर सकते. I don't know what image they have of Pakistan there. Anyways, I came back, and I had this in my, you know, at the back of my mind. I always had this, that one day I would set up my own company and I would do my own research. And I used to do a lot of work with my father. You know, we shared common field and common interest. So I came back after my master's. I got married and I got a scholarship for my PhD. So वो एक जैसे एक होता है ना कि बस अब शादी हो गई है, अब नहीं करना. तो you know, before, when I was leaving UK for coming to Pakistan to get married, I found out that I got a scholarship for my PhD. So I went to the professor and I said, just hold on to it. I'll go back, I'll get married, and I'm gonna come and join my PhD. So he said, yeah, sure. So खैर मैं वापस आई, मेरी शादी होगी after 11 months of my marriage. I went back to UK and I started my PhD. So उसके बाद alhamdulillah my husband was very supportive. और उसके दौरान ही then I came back to Pakistan and I had I was visiting and then I went back and I had my baby daughter during my PhD. तो वो एक काफी एक challenging situation थी because my husband was based in Pakistan, I was in the UK and I had a baby, and then I came back and my supervisor professor said that you can continue your research in Pakistan. So I started part-time with a young child, started working again, and my father worked with me. He helped me because my supervisor was not there. I was given this research on environment friendly engines, and so we came up with 2 inventions on environment friendly engines. And then when my daughter was about ready to go to school, मैं यूके वापस गई उसके साथ, मैं और वो, और मैंने अपनी PhD complete की. And उस वक्त my supervisor and my university highlighted that what you've invented and what you worked on is something that can have a global impact. So this must go beyond a PhD, and it won some student prizes. And that was like a turning point when I decided yes, उस वक्त तो एक challenge होता है ना, आपका research है, छोटा baby है, family है, कि बस मैंने ये खत्म करना है. But then I thought no, I will take this beyond this. So after my PhD, there were opportunities to set up this company in the UK, but then I opted to come back to Pakistan, and I, with my father, set up Pakistan's first commercial aircraft and engine R&D company. Because इससे पहले aerospace or aircraft में जितना भी काम है, that's either in the defense domain or in the airline operations. So we are now making a environment friendly, contrail free aero engine for the global aviation industry. And we proudly call ourselves Born Global. और ये जो काम है, ये just nature का, I mean, if I have time, I will explain it more. But this is something that is basically something that is one of its kind, or the first commercial company which is making this kind of an environment friendly engine in the world. Well, there is a lot of research in the world around it, but nobody is doing it as a commercial product. So my daughter named my company. She was around 6 at that time, but I think because she was always with me and always listening about my work, so she gave me a list of relevant names to name the company Aero Engine Craft. And it's been 3 years. We've developed the first prototype. I mean, we were obviously thrown back by a year because of COVID, but nevertheless, we've made Pakistan's first jet engine, and then we also developed the first environment-friendly, contrail-free aero engine prototype in 3 years. And I also invented another supersonic, co-invented with my father, a supersonic commercial engine. If you've heard of the Concorde, so it's like it just it's an improved, or not exactly improved, but it overcomes the problems that Concorde was facing. So it's like I'm one of the, I would say, jet engine inventors, women jet engine inventors in recorded history of the world. So this journey is continuing, and alhamdulillah, it's been with a lot of support from the family, from my parents to start with, because that's where आपका जो basic confidence होता है, वो आपके parents की तरफ से आता है. And then after my marriage, support from my husband, because I think अगर आपको parents encourage करें, support करें, तो it's something that just carries forward. And I just remember this joke now. I went for my PhD 11 months after my marriage. So, I was in the UK, my husband was in Pakistan when I had my first wedding anniversary, and my husband asked me that आपने अपने लिए क्या खरीदा? तो मैंने कहा मैंने calculator खरीदा because I'm going to start my PhD studies again. So yeah, things just moved on, and after my with the baby, my husband was very supportive. My own family, my parents, my sister, they all helped me a lot, because I do believe that success is always teamwork. And my PhD supervisor, and I think कि जैसे खवातीन की आप बात करें ना कि एक स्टीरियोटाइप वो होता है, मुझे लगता है कि हमारे अपनी सोसाइटी में, अगर मैं पाकिस्तानी सोसाइटी की बात करूं, तो हम थोड़ी सी ना एक कंफ्यूजन बहुत है। एक तो ये है कि we are a bit confused between our religion and our subcontinent culture, जो कि कहीं से और उसमें इन दोनों को मिला के बहुत अनरीजनेबल एक्सपेक्टेशंस जो है ना खवातीन से बिल्डअप हो जाती हैं, स्पेशली आफ्टर मैरिज. So well, I could see those, but I used to try कि हमें we have to be very clear कि हमारी responsibilities हैं क्या, हमसे expectations कौन सी reasonable हैं और कौन सी unreasonable हैं. और I think like self recognition is also very important, because yes, in the society you are supposed to fit into these stereotype roles of being a good mother, a wife, a good daughter. But a woman is a human being, and she has her identity. She has some passions, some talents, some aptitude. That there are things beyond all these roles. और वो अपने आप को recognize करना, उसको identify करना, उसके लिए किसी हद तक कोशिश करना, because there are different times. There are times, when you can't follow your passion. There are times when you can, but you need to have this clarity. And जो एक बहुत कई दफा हमें एक गिल्ट दी जाती है, या एक मॉम गिल्ट भी होती है, उसको ओवरकम करना, ये सब चीजें बहुत जरूरी हैं. और आई थिंक अब the society is opening up, and we hope for better times, for more encouragement, more acceptability. और basically जैसे मैं हमेशा एक चीज को highlight करती हूँ कि professions or entrepreneurship, it has to be gender neutral. Like we don't really have to discriminate ke it's a woman or a man. It's a professional thing, and you have to be professionally sound. Like for whatever I am doing at the moment, I don't think that any man in the world is doing that. तो इसमें उस चीज का फर्क नहीं करना चाहिए. A woman should also be treated equally as a professional. And entrepreneurship is a great thing, because I mean I have never studied entrepreneurship, but I've learned it on job. सबसे पहले तो ये है कि अगर हम जनरली एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप की बात करें तो बहुत सी हमारा जैसे जो बिजनेस प्रोफेशनल्स नहीं होते, बहुत सी एक तो ये है कि इसमें बहुत फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी है. The world has a lot of we are facing a lot of challenges, sustainable development goals, problems, and entrepreneurship offers you that flexibility to bring local solutions to your problems. Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah, for sharing your journey with us. And I know this you have so much wisdom and so much knowledge to share. Unfortunately, this platform, it doesn't allow us that much time to go through everything. But thank you so much for being part of this. And hopefully, inshallah, next event, maybe we will give our speakers a little bit more time to share their experiences with us. I will go swiftly over to Hira. Hira, but so much for being part of this. Hi, Hira. किसी का volume on है? Can you everybody mute? Naila, I think it's you. I will go swiftly over to Hira. Naila.
Hi, can you hear me, Sayeda?
यस हिरा आपकी आवाज आ रही है.
ठीक है जी, because I feel like I still hear some echo.
अब fine है.
Great. Assalamu alaikum everyone, and what a heartening conversation this is. As has been said, it's an honor to be amongst such talented women, or particularly Sana ki jo journey thi, usne that has I'd say left a mark, because I feel like particularly when she spoke about the mom guilt, that is something that needs to be talked about a little more than it's currently being discussed, or at all in our circle of entrepreneurs and just professional women who are trying to balance life other than the household. So I'd just love to kind of hear more of this. So thank you for sharing that, Sana. A little about me. My name is Hira Batul Rizvi, and I am from Islamabad, Pakistan. So I'm basically the CEO and co-founder of SheCab, which is a subscription-based carpool service for women and girls in the country. And SheCab जो है, पता नहीं आप में से कितनों ने अभी तक सुना है हमारे बारे में, but we call ourselves, and we are Pakistan's first of its kind women-only carpool service that has been operational in the country for over 4 years now. We are operational in 4 cities: Islamabad, Rawalpindi, Wakant, or Taxila. और आप में से बहुत सारी ख़वातीन टेक्निकल बैकग्राउंड से जिस तरह है, उस तरह मैंने भी अपनी ज़िंदगी की शुरुआत जो प्रोफेशनल लाइफ थी उसकी शुरुआत इंजीनियरिंग से की. I got my undergraduate in electrical engineering from Pakistan. And as you might have seen, was one of the 3 female engineers in the entire class. But even in high school, I was, one of the very few female students studying physics, ad maths, and chemistry, onwards to on the track to do something in the technical sciences. So it's unfortunately a reality which shukr alhamdulillah is changing. Very few women used to opt for technical fields. And that was something that was bugging me, ever since I was in graduate school, and I was it started from high school. Then I saw that undergraduate maybe voice story, it didn't change, and it became a glaring reality when I was a student in the US. मैं अपना masters करने जब अमेरिका गई तो मैंने देखा कि वहाँ भी यही situation है. I went to a pure technical university there, Georgia Institute of Technology. और वहाँ भी I was one of the few female, actually I was the only female from Pakistan in the entire university at that time. So, जो batch Pakistan से गया था उसके अंदर मैं अकेली लड़की थी और बाकी सारे, there was a bunch of boys. So it just said so much about how, women were either not pursuing sciences or were not kind of, motivated enough. और बहुत generic सा एक term use किया जाता है कि लड़कियों को तो math नहीं आती. So that was, something that used to kind of, speak a lot to me. And once I was kind of, I got the Fulbright to the US, I was studying at such a prestigious university over there. So I thought that, the onus to give back as a technical expert, of course, I was getting a master's degree. So just when I was being given that master's degree, I thought to myself that they're saying that I'm a master of technology now. So, it just kind of added to the burden that I used to feel growing up. I was always the giving back kind. So I was like, I should do something with this, with this degree that I have. I, of course, sky was the limit. There were a lot of opportunities lined up as, you are graduating from the US. It kind of, opens up a lot of horizons for you. But I kind of thought differently. I was seeing Uber and Lyft, do pick up in the US. But मैं अमेरिका में की अगर बात करूँ तो अमेरिका के एक शहर में जहाँ मैं ऊबर में बैठते हुए सुकून से बैठ जाती थी, न्यूयॉर्क में या जो relatively populated थे, उधर मैं एक ऊबर में आराम से बैठ जाऊँ, but on the contrary, जिस शहर में मैं पढ़ रही थी, अटलांटा, वो थोड़ा सा predominantly थोड़ा relatively wild था, and suburban था compared to New York. तो वहां पर एक उबर में बैठते हुए मैं बड़ा हिचकिचाती थी, तो एक आप झिझक होती है जो थी. So I think to myself कि इस तरह की सर्विस पाकिस्तान में अगर आए, I'm talking back in 2012 and 2013. So I would think to myself कि पाकिस्तान में आए तो would it be safe? Would our women want to use such a service? But I also knew that it was the need of the hour, and how much more would our women need something like Uber and Kareem. I knew because I'd seen that transportation was a huge problem for our women. I'd seen people from my family, my extended circles, always the women particularly always dependent on their fathers, their brothers, to be picked and dropped from their places of work, to schools, to universities. And without mobility, I felt like we would not be able to kind of give women the freedom that they deserve without solving the problem of mobility. So that's what I wanted to start off with. Then I came to Pakistan. I was roped in by a project that I was doing for Microsoft, and I was actually launching a brilliant project for them. But while I was working on it, kahin na kahin mere dil mein ek ye hota tha ki I have to go back to an idea that I thought of as a student at the university in the US. तो वहाँ पर एक hackathon था, वहाँ पर मैंने pitch किया, a safe taxi service for women. And then I got busy with studies and everything. Didn't really do much about it. Then came back and started working for Microsoft. But I got to know about the circles, the entrepreneurship circles that were active in my city, Islamabad. And fortunately, that kind of helped me take off. So there's a We Create Center, a center for women entrepreneurship, sponsored by the US Embassy, and they're doing great work to kind of foster or give a platform for women to just get together on the same page and have the conversations that we're having today. So without a platform like this, I feel like you don't really know where to take off. Of course, everyone can have brilliant ideas, but these platforms are very important. So We Create Center for me kind of was that it really helped me pitch the idea to people and kind of understand how it would be done in Pakistan by connecting with the local people, connecting with digital media agencies that really became our partners in the work that we did for She-Cab later. तो वो वाले connection जो establish करना होते हैं वो मुझे बहुत help मिली वहाँ से. Then we kind of kicked off She-Cab, and we started with just a rudimentary website where it was basically just a form where you would leave your pickup drop-off details and your times, and then we would connect you to a partner driver group that I had personally किसी एक का driver ले लिया, किसी के जान पहचान का community का driver ले लिया. And we started with we thought we would start with women drivers, but unfortunately the ground realities were very different. So we had to kind of pick up male drivers for starting. So we kind of got together, spoke with, took interviews of local taxi walas and brought them on board. So that's how we kind of formed the initial group to test the market. And little did I know that in over a month or 2 months time, I got like about hundreds of registrations. And this was just me alone with a full-time job, and I did not really know where to take it from there. And in this process, I was actually also enrolled in a leadership program. So I was doing a lot of things at the same time. And that's where I decided to pull the plug. My dad still, I don't know if he still regrets it or, doesn't feel good about it. But when I was leaving my job, he's like, think about it, because, you would want to go back to a comfortable, cushiony job that pays you well. And I don't come from a family of entrepreneurs. So for them, for someone with my kind of educational background to do something so uncertain as my nani would say, "Tum taxiyan chalaogi itna padhai karke." So it really didn't make sense for my family. But I told them that this is what I wanted to do, and then once I became full time, then of course I feel like the people around you see your dedication, and God sees the dedication, and everything kind of falls into place. Then we kind of we won a little award for Shell, that Shell was doing, तो हम $10,000 हमने Shell से हमें award money मिल गया. That was kind of enough to kind of put the basic things together. And in the meanwhile, then I got approached by a lot of international kind of investors who wanted us to talk more about what we were doing. And fortunately, we also got into an accelerator program down in Scandinavia. Up in Scandinavia. So we kind of also took some equity investment that kind of helped us grow SheCab into what it is. We've taken very little investment, about $200,000 or so far. But अब आप अगर SheCab को देखें, from the time that we launched it, we've got a fully functional smartphone application, about 5,000 6,000 drivers just in these 4 cities, and about 30-50 registrations that are coming to us every day. So and we're doing this with a very small team. We're doing this with very little funding. We are mostly a revenue based company, so whatever we are doing, we are kind of putting back in the business. So we're at that stage right now where we're kind of debating where next. अब इसके बाद scale किस तरह किया जाए, how to get more investors, if at all, so that's where we are right now. But the journey itself is at times very uncertain, because you're like, what am I doing? I saw people just taking one job after the other, my friends roaming around the world, job hopping, and here I was just stuck to this idea which I was passionate, madly passionate about. I'd say I'd seen the problem so closely growing up in Pakistan of transport, and fortunately enough, I come from a very privileged family where I had drivers and a couple of cars standing outside. But still, the glaring reality that I, being a technical expert, so or so my degree said, I had such a lot of onus to give back to the community, and what was I doing with it? So I kind of wanted to put together my technical expertise and build something for the women and just leave it for them, and hope that it turns out valuable for the people that I was doing this for.
Thank you so much, Hira, for sharing your inspiring journey. And what's so amazing is कि आपने एक real life में एक problem देखी जो कि औरतों को होती है पाकिस्तान की society में, and generally a lot of places actually. It's not just Pakistan, because women feel unsafe in a lot of cities, even in London. A lot of women would welcome this idea कि जो safety element है, it's a big problem, and आपने उस problem को देखा, आपने उस problem को समझा, and then you went out to solve that problem, and so it's so inspiring and so refreshing to hear your story and your journey. Thank you so much for sharing. एक last quickly, आप एक अपनी audience को कुछ कहना चाहेंगी अपनी journey के हवाले से, learnings के हवाले से?
Yeah, so I guess something that I would leave you guys with, to figure out what SheCab does, how we are, working. You can just look it up and understand how our carpool model works. But on your journey, and particularly about this competition that you're a part of, just do not be scared of what you're thinking. If you are thinking about something, and if you're passionate about something, talk to people about people like Sayeda or myself or anyone of these women. Talk to us about it. We'll help you probably hone the idea. And if you want to start something, gather around yourself a team that you can rely on, because it's very hard. From what I've seen personally, it's very hard for one individual, unless you've got a family supporting you to do something. You need to have some confidence and some friends who are willing to do it with you. It's very hard to do this journey alone. So just gather yourself around you, some confidants, your friends, and create a small team, and then work on something that you want to work on. And if you guys
so
need
much,
anything, just reach out to us, and we're more than welcome to help.
Thank you so much, Hira. Thank you
You're
for the
welcome.
offer. बहुत swiftly, because I know हमारा time जो है थोड़ा सा इतनी interesting बातें हो रही हैं यहाँ पे. We were given our speakers 5 minutes, but everybody has such wonderful stories to share. Very quickly, we will move to Mahin and then on to our next speaker, Usma. Mahin, can we see you? Hi, Mahin.
Hi,
How
Saida.
are you?
I'm good.
So please give us a bit of introduction of your background and what's your journey been like.
Sure. Thank you, Saida. It was pleasure hearing the stories from our fellow speakers and greeting to our prospective entrepreneurs who are listening with us in our channel. When Saida told me about this opportunity, I was excited to share my experience and skills with this platform. What I always do during mentoring is to share with my students and team is reality, not sugar-coated, straight to the experience that I have learned from my mistakes and what I was guided wrong. Let's share with my little background how I ended up being a person who is leading 4 organizations in Pakistan, which is also operating and serving worldwide. I belong to the northern areas of Pakistan, proud Pakistani, proud Sikh from Shimshal. I was born and raised in Karachi, completed my early education from here, that is matriculation in science, intermediate in pre-medical, that was to pursue my father's dream to be doctor, which I eventually tried, but ended up convincing my father that it's not for me. Yes, he was disappointed, but I did promise that I will end up being doctor. Eventually, I'm there. I did my bachelor's in business administration in marketing from Karachi, MBA and MS in entrepreneurial marketing from Ethiopia. And now by the end of this year, we'll be completing doctorate in entrepreneurship with majors in micro, small and media enterprises from Malaysia. I started working from the age of 16. Firstly, I started as a volunteer, which helped me to grow in the field of humanity. And now almost 2 decades of experience and counting. I'm bridging many nonprofits around the world as consultant, collaborator, and partner. And Women Entrepreneurship is the platform through which we are leading humanitarian causes around the world, which is from 17 SDGs, we are currently working on 15 SDGs, and we hope with small passage of time, we would be working in remaining 2 SDGs goals as well. Simultaneously, I started working as teaching assistant at the age of 19. And again, after almost decade and a half of experience in national and international teaching and research experiences and counting, I'm in pursuit of being a professor. And not only this, but I'm also running educational services by the name of Entrepreneurs Ecole, which provides learning opportunities internationally, trainings, and especially in the field of entrepreneurship, which primarily focuses on bringing the ideas to reality. Meanwhile, being a part of journal trading company that is Trade Turner, I explore the world of e-commerce and still exploring. And I would suggest all of you to tap if you can. How I ended up coming up with this brand, Sugar, is because of another NGO, Feed the Poor, which runs vocational training center for struggling women. And being the head of women and education at Feed the Poor, we come up with the idea of Sugar, which will bring the opportunity for having them the continuous earning and job security. You see, life is truly full of surprises, and what you need to do is keep accepting the opportunity by availing and providing opportunities to the others. But during this entrepreneurial exploration, there were not one, but many challenges that I faced in Pakistan. Number one, governmental and institutional and family. Let's be honest. There are too many barriers for startup in Pakistan. There are restrictions from FDR and other state departments. There are too many licensing issues. Plus, there is no financial support to do the startups, being very realistic program like Kamyab Jawan and other platforms who are distributing funds are only focused on conventional micro businesses. The process is lengthy enough that it would actually end up in closure of the startup before it gets any funding approved. In institutional level, what I have observed that as an academician, that our institutions are either not teaching entrepreneurship, or if they are teaching, it's strictly bookish, theory oriented. Majority of the faculties are not experienced. I will refer to the government point again here, that as majority of business persons who are successful in the field are not best fit as per HEC requirement. Another thing, it's a pressure from our family and peers that we have a hardcore mindset of working class people. Anybody who wants to step in the world of entrepreneurs are highly discouraged and recommend to be good salaried person as their forefathers. Adding to this, if you are female, then you have additional duty of being an entrepreneur and being a homemaker. Believe me, when I'm talking about my experience, being an entrepreneur does not relieve you from the duties as female of the house. I will try to explain you the challenges that I have faced as an entrepreneur. Firstly, I discussed there was no such financial support or guidance from the government or institutions then there at that time, and an additional pressure of taking care of home. At the same time, I was taking care of other companies as well. The challenges that I was facing was immense amount of pressure because I had started different companies and I was taking care of home as well. This resulted in additional duties, lack of sleep, anxiety, frustration, and other things. What I realized was that I cannot do everything on my own. So I started training my subordinates or the team who are working under me until the point that I felt they reached to my mental frequency and they can perform the task as per my expectation. In short, I started delegating the work.
Mahin, I'm so sorry to cut you short. It's just the length of the program is getting a little bit long. So just very quickly, please share with us one wisdom, one tip that in a nutshell that you would recommend to your audience today, that why should they take part in this competition that we're running with National Idea Bank?
There are two things I want to share. First, about this opportunity. This opportunity of National Idea Bank, Saida, is the opportunity that I was looking for when I was pursuing entrepreneurship at that time. When I truly needed a mentor and a guideline, and where you have mentors to frame your ideas. This effort of Idea Bank is what I'm particularly hopeful that it will bring positivity in Pakistan, and I'm eagerly looking forward to all of the participants and other who are listening right now to join and be the force of hope and better change and for prosperity, not only for Pakistan, but for your quality of life as well. And secondly, while they're pursuing for this opportunity, they must understand that as a new entrepreneur, there are a few things you need to keep in mind. Do not think that everything would be done by you. Distribute the work, have a good team, plan everything. This is not an easy journey, but it's a very fruitful journey. Secondly, it is easy to reach on top but it's very, very difficult to stay there. So you need to have this persistency and determination when you decide something. And thirdly, when you move on with your life, and as of all of us who are in the leadership position, they are successful or they're having this opportunity because either they have the right family, they're supporting that, and also they have the right companion. So please do not mix your peace and success as well.
Thank you so much, Mahin. Thank you. And then once again, I apologize. I know I have interrupted you and cut you short, but we are really pushing for time. I have one more live speaker, which is Uzma. Uzma, please join us and share us with your wisdom. I know you were based out in Silicon Valley and you've been in high-tech industry for many years. So please share your knowledge with us today.
Well, thank you, Saida, for giving me this opportunity. I'm going to be really short about it. Well, I would say I started my journey in Lahore, with my institutions, as is that I was in actually convent. I graduated from there. Then I went to Kinnaid. Kinnaid se ye journey start hogi. My father, we just went for a visit, to US. And my father decided, okay, you're going to continue the studies there. So I got my admission in UCLA. And hats off to my institutions, that I was, immediately got the admission, at UCLA, and I continued my studies there. So I did my undergrad in international business. And then after that, I went into records management little later on. But Silicon Valley journey was very impressive, at least if not 30-32 years there. और अभी पिछले 2 साल से मैं अपना जो I'm living in अपना जो है पाकिस्तान में, तो जर्नी के मैं थोड़ा सा आपको recap दे दूं कि 92 में I started my company and it was started from a garage, from home, basically. And 94 में I started my another retail अपना company जिसमें भी हम IT में ही चले गए दोबारा. And we were selling to the retail customers in the US. And 95 mein, we basically started an industry in Pakistan mein, paper and board industry. I got a person who actually connected from Lahore. He was a retired director from packages, a good well-known industry. So he came to us. He basically, it was very lucrative project. So 96 May, basically, we started this project in Pakistan. So working in 2 different countries, it was a challenge. Packages, a good well-known industry. So he came to us. I hear some echo there.
Mahin, can I just ask you to mute yourself, please?
Basically, we started this project in Pakistan.
Listen, Mahin को mute. हाँ, thank you. Sorry, Uzma, go ahead.
No worries. And then उसके बाद मैंने 97 में जो है, जो actually आपने मुझे यहाँ पे लिखा है मेरे मतलब अपना Center for Research in Vocational Education, how that came up. I was a small business actually when I started in Silicon Valley. तो मैंने उस वक्त ये feel किया कि बहुत सारी जब मैं अपने employees अपना रखती थी, तो I would end up अपना जो है training them. Rather than utilizing them as an employee, I would end up training them, So I started asking, a lot of my other small companies, is that the issue they're having, So बहुत सारे लोगों ने education के ऊपर अपना emphasize किया कि यार अपना trainings नहीं होती हैं जो employees आते हैं. So that made my interest, into vocational education. So I basically started एक मैंने book लिखी vocational education के ऊपर. That got published and it went into the hands of state of California. Or Silicon Valley में recessions बहुत आते थे. Every year, they would lay off, I don't know, 200,000 people, 300,000 people, क्योंकि बहुत evolving है वो अपना technology का area. तो उसमें लोग, skills की बड़ा मसला होता था लोगों को कि वेस्टर्न डिजिटल ने कोई एक हार्ड ड्राइव आपकी खत्म कर दी है, तो वो सारी लेबर जो है वो बेचारी they had to move to the अपना ईस्ट कोस्ट and अपना go into different industries. तो वहां पे जब मुझे स्टेट ऑफ कैलिफोर्निया के पास जब मैंने जाके तो ये स्टार्ट किया वोकेशनल एजुकेशन का, तो इट वाज अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग अपना डायनामिक कि जिसमें I learned that you learn every single day, keep on evolving with your skills. उस पे कभी बैठे नहीं, कभी ये नहीं करें कि ओके ठीक है यार अब मुझे सब कुछ पता है and I'm good and happy with it. Till this day, I'm still learning. I learn every single day. So I think ये जो अभी young entrepreneurs और इतना specifically आप ये जो global women entrepreneurs का कर रही हैं, I think very important thing for them to know is this is a global village. आपके पास कोई reason नहीं है to say कि you cannot run a business. You can run a very successful business out of your garage, out of your home, out of your a small अपना table and a desk. You have to अपना find actually the niche. एक जो बहुत मेरी important advice है आप लोगों को, please keep a balance between your work and your home and your family life. Because that's very important. We are the mothers, right? And हम एक future generation बना रहे होते हैं. So I think we play a very pivotal role, in creating a society. So it doesn't have to be all the time entrepreneurship, your work, आप जब भी काम करें, keep your help. I was living in Silicon Valley. आप यकीन करें मैंने शामी कबाब बनाने वालों से लेके रोटी बनाने वालों से लेके I kept all the help. But I just made sure that I was a good mother, और इस वक्त मेरे तीनों बच्चे जो हैं, they are अपना professional. They all studied from great institutions. And I mean, they're working also. So make sure that you balance, you know, help रखें. अभी मैं यहाँ पे भी आई हूँ पाकिस्तान में भी, तो मैं यहाँ पे भी ये काम कर रही हूँ कि all the help that I need, and you know, pay them as much as you can, and अपनी भी जिंदगी को आसान करें. और एक चीज जो मैं ग्लोबल वुमेन एंटरप्रेन्योर पे यहाँ पे अभी कहना चाहती हूँ आपको, वो ये कि वी स्टार्टेड अपना डैप, यू नो, इट्स अ डायस्पोरा एसोसिएशन है, अपना प्रोफेशनल जो पाकिस्तानीज हैं हमारे ओवरसीज, ऑल योर अपना पार्टिसिपेंट्स आर वेलकम टू जॉइन अस हियर. we have अपना ऑडियंस अभी इस वक्त हमारे पास काफी प्रोफेशनल लोग जो कि अपना कैलिफोर्निया से ज्यादा लोगों ने अभी मुझे ज्वाइन किया है, एंड दे आर हाईली प्रोफेशनल. सो यू नेवर नो कि आपको कौन सा ग्रुप या कहाँ से कोई अच्छी एडवाइस आ जाए. सो आप उसको जरा देखें जरूर. डैप ऑफिशियल है हमारी वेबसाइट, एंड अपना बेसिकली एनी किसी भी आपके अपना पार्टिसिपेंट को या जो आपके नए जो एंटरप्रेन्योर्स आ रहे हैं, NIB is a great idea. Hassan has done a great job, you know, and obviously apna Saida and Naila, I know all of them, I'm working with them. So आपको किसी टाइम में भी किसी को कोई हेल्प मेरे से चाहिए in regards to में वहाँ सिलिकॉन वैली में, IT में, यहाँ पे पाकिस्तान में, I'm more than happy to assist, you know.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Usman.
Saida.
Thank you to all the speakers. Thank you so much. आपने इतनी wisdom share की और अपनी knowledge share की. Usman, I really do feel कि हर इतनी सारी ladies थी जिनको हम सुनते रहते, you know, और time चाहिए था हमें आपको सुनने के लिए, आपके experiences को सुनने के लिए. But finally, I think as we are sort of heading towards wrapping up the program, just a few things. कुछ वीडियोस हैं हमारे पास जो हम आपके साथ शेयर करना चाहेंगे, लेकिन वीडियोस की तरफ जाने से पहले मैं चाहूंगी कि थोड़ा नौशीन को भी इंट्रोड्यूस किया जाए. ये एक अपकमिंग female entrepreneur hai, and she's also part of the National Idea Bank team, and she's worked very hard to put this show together. Nosheen, just do a quick introduction about yourself and what you do.
Assalamu alaikum ji. I'm Nosheen Baracha, and I am proudly a part of NIB, and I'm running my own school, Stepping Stone International School, and it is in Baraku, which is a bit outcuts in the outcuts of Islamabad. And I have started in 2016, and as you people have faced a lot of problems and up downs, I have faced the same problems and same challenges, but I never gave up. The basic key is never give up. Please chalte rahe and never give up and have faith. Thank you, Ma'am Saida. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nosheen, for sharing your journey. And now, Khurram, if you could possibly please just play the last couple of videos, and then we will have a Q&A session, audience missing, and then we will wrap it up.
Can you guys see the screen?
We can see, but we can't hear at the moment, Khurram.
Yes, we can. But just like always, Khurram, your computer is not doing the job on video.
No, there's nothing. I just want you to see the screen first. Can you see the screen now?
We can.
Yes, okay,
Yeah,
that was
okay.
a test.
It was a suspense. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum and a very good evening. I'm Dr. Mariam Rabb. I have worked in public service sector in Pakistan for more than 20 years. My experience varies from teaching to research to leadership and management in higher education. I have a master's in English literature from University of Peshawar. I'm also a achievement scholar, and I did my master's in education management from King's College London, and subsequently I did a doctorate in education from Institute of Education, University College London. I was a member of 4-person's team, which established Fatma Jinnah Women's University, the first ever women's university in Pakistan. I would term that as my biggest success in my career for multiple reasons. Primarily, the university was making education accessible to young women across Pakistan. And we, as a team, made sure that the knowledge that they were getting through their degree program also had skills which improved their chances of employability. I'm talking about 2 decades back when the percentage of women's engagement in workforce was much lower than what it is today. Though the numbers are still not good, but it has improved considerably over a period of time. In 2013, I joined British Council and started a thought leadership unit there, which was again a very new experiment like Women's University. It was the first ever research unit of its kind in all 110 operations of British Council around the globe. And my portfolio since then has expanded to first to the South Asia team, and now I'm working with the Global Research Policy and Insight team from this year. I'm also an ACU certified trainer and mentor for women in higher education, leadership and management, and I'm also the first woman to be appointed on the board of Cadet College Hassan Abdal. Which is one of the prime institutions for young men and boys for education. One of the biggest challenges that I experienced was changing the mindset of families of young women who came to study in university. They wanted their daughters to stay within the 4 walls of the university and not to be exposed to any kind of life skills outside the university. They wanted them to have degrees, but were not interested in making them the workforce. So I came across brilliant women who struggled with low self-esteem and low self-confidence. And we overcame this challenge by introducing mentoring and giving them advisors who helped them in improving the perceptions and the attitudes. And once they gained their confidence, they were ready to take.
Hello, Salam. I'm Nadia Bukhari. I'm a pharmacist by profession. I'm based in London, UK. I'm an associate professor at University College London, and I'm also the global head of corporate affairs and the chief pharmacist for one of Pakistan's leading telemedicine organizations called Doctors, which in itself is a public limited company, and it's a business. So I'm going to be sharing some of my experiences, some of my challenges, some of my successes of working within this space within Pakistan. I'd say one of the biggest challenges I've faced is being a woman, is actually finding support from other women within this space. And I think we need more role models, we need more women to come forward and support one another when it comes to entrepreneurship. I've actually found, ironically, the men within this space to be very supportive, and I've had men who have mentored me throughout my time of working within this particular space. So I'd say that that's been one of my biggest challenges, and that's why I'm here today, because I want to come across and support other women who are looking at starting their own business, or are actually, already within this space as well. I think we need more role models. We need more women to come out and speak about their experiences and share their learnings so that we can all benefit. So that's been one of my biggest challenges within this space. when we're talking about successes, so I'm going to speak to you a little bit about doctors and the work that I do there. And this is the health tech arena. So Doctors is one of, as I've mentioned, one of Pakistan's leading telemedicine companies. And we pride in the fact that we are female-led. And we have predominantly all our doctors, our pharmacists, our healthcare professionals, they're all female. And we use telemedicine as the conduit for that. So this allows the women to work flexibly within their own homes, women who haven't been working for a variety of reasons, social issues, cultural issues, who haven't come back into the workforce once they've qualified as a female healthcare professional. This, the telemedicine then enables them that flexibility and allows them to practice their trade. So one of the projects that I have worked on and led on within Doctors is our Transform project, which is a project in collaboration with Unilever and DFID, where we have trained and empowered female health workers within their villages. We've equipped them with a tablet, 4G Wi-Fi connection, and we call them our Guddi Bajis, and we have recruited them from within the villages that they reside in. And they go door to door to villagers, and they provide access to quality healthcare, and they connect them with one of our female doctors, one of our female pharmacists, and other healthcare professionals to actually provide quality healthcare. So they are the point of access to healthcare within their villages. And this has been a very successful project that we've run and that I've led on. We've run it successfully now for 2 years. And this year we introduced our Guddi Bajis to be pharmacy access points. So what we did was we gave our Guddi Bajis a basket of goods, 10 over-the-counter products, things like, Panadol, ORS, which they have in their baskets, and then they can sell to their villages should they need it. So before they sell it, obviously, because there's a health implication, they then connect with one of our female pharmacists who then authorize the sale, counsel the patients on their medication, and should the patients need any referrals, they can then refer to one of our female doctors. So technology has been an absolute enabler in all of this, and it's been the focal point to provide the quality access to healthcare within the village.
Thank you very much for inviting me to speak at this conference. And I'd especially like to thank Saida Ashraf, who asked me to do a short presentation about myself and my career. I was born in 1957 in Hyderabad, Sindh, and I was brought up in a busy family home with 4 older siblings. I was the youngest of the 5. I had a very happy childhood. I went to the local Catholic convent school, and I went on to do matric and then into science. I got admission into the Liaquat Medical College in Jamshoro, studying medicine, and I qualified in 1982. I got married the same year and moved to UK, and then my career in medicine was put on hold as my qualification was not recognized in United Kingdom. I had to go through an exam to prove my competency as a doctor, and eventually started work after applying for 50 different jobs. And I was very fortunate because the job that I got was given to me by a Pakistani ENT surgeon who was a graduate of King Edward's, Lahore. And he understood the issues that the foreign graduates were facing. The jobs were often not given to overseas graduates if there was a local graduate applying for the job. I trained in ENT, and I was quite serious about pursuing a hospital career. And one of the very honest consultant of mine, he was a Scotsman, said to me, you would be my fourth choice when it comes to picking up the candidates. So that brought home certain realities for me. And I had to consider my position in pursuing a career in the hospital, which was in mid-1980s, was rather tough. But however, I was determined and I was observing what I need to do. I had a young family as well to look after. And then having a job, having a house with a young child and a career was tough. And there were quite a lot of barriers that I had to overcome. However, I realized that although I enjoyed surgery, that may not be the path I want to pursue. And I fortunately got a training post in London in one of the prestigious hospitals. And from then on, my career took a turn in the right direction. And I was very fortunate to get a job in running a cochlear implant program in Great Ormond Street Hospital. In 2005, when the earthquake happened in northern Pakistan and in Kashmir, that was a real jolt, which we all felt in Pakistan. With the Pakistani diaspora here in UK, it was a wake-up call for us. And although I had always wanted to have a little bit of involvement in the philanthropy activities, that really triggered my passion. And myself and few of my friends and colleagues, we got together and set up the charity. And I found that to be a very satisfying experience. And from then on, I got involved in British Pakistani Foundation. And we tried to inspire young Pakistani students, especially in the deprived areas such as East London. And we then tried to start getting these kids to come and mentor them and nurture them to go to a medical school. And that has been another important milestone in my career and in my passion for helping the young Pakistani children. I feel very proud to be born in Pakistan, and I feel very proud of my Pakistani roots. And it is quite hurtful when we hear very negative media coverage about Pakistan and the impression that it creates in the British Pakistani children. I hope that next step we will be taking in UK among British Pakistanis is to perhaps set the narrative right. It is to educate our younger generation about the struggles of Muslims in India, how Pakistan was created, as well as the sacrifices of some of our ancestors who made for Pakistan, and where we hope that Pakistan will go, so that the Pakistani community in United Kingdom will feel proud and not embarrassed about their roots. I'd like to thank you again.
Thank you so much, Khurram, for doing the tech stuff for us this evening. Now I'll open up the forum for Q&As from the audience. So if you have any questions you would like to ask some of our panelists who are on the call today, so please feel free to. Nausheen, अगर आप थोड़ी मेरी मदद कर दें इस हवाले से कि कौन-कौन से questions आ रहे हैं और किन तो we can sort of go towards that.
Sure.
questions coming through from the audience?
Ma'am, not on the chat room. I'm just checking in YouTube too.
YouTube पे आप देखिए. Thank you, ladies. I know it's been such a, mashallah, a long event, and it's so inspirational to hear all of you ladies' journeys that you've, very kindly shared with us. And I know, I know you've had a lot of challenges. Likewise, trust me, I've had my fair share of challenges. But again, मैं यही कहूँगी कि इससे ज़्यादा मज़े का सफर, इससे ज़्यादा मज़े का professions, I don't believe कि इस planet पे कोई है. Being an entrepreneur, working for yourself, working towards your dreams is absolutely one of the best gifts that you could give to yourself as a woman, I believe. And I think likewise, lots of women will share that notion with me.
Ma'am, on YouTube, our team was replying them.
Okay, all right. So
some of the members, they were replying over there.
Okay, so excellent. Agar that's really good. I think now because it's been such a long event, I would just like to, thank my team here.
Excuse me, ma'am Sayyida. One of the questions from Aisha Khan, your advice for young girls with no financial support, please. Where to start?
Okay. Where to start? Okay. Who would like to take? Sarah, Zara, आप unmute हुई हैं. आप इस सवाल का जवाब देंगी?
I'm very happy to. I think one of the key things you could do is start where you are, do what you can with whatever you have. If you keep waiting for, I need more, I need money, I don't have any support, I don't have anybody there, you will never start, So start with whatever you have and with whatever you can do at that point in your life. And you build it up.
Absolutely, sorry, Zara, to interrupt you, but कोई भी अच्छा business जो है ना, वो finance की वजह से कभी नहीं रुकता. If you have a good idea, then you will find people who will back the idea and who will back the project. लोग ideas पे कम और बंदों पे ज़्यादा invest करते हैं, I believe. So if you have an idea और आप में खुद में strong character है, you will find investors.
अच्छा, मैं सिर्फ एक चीज ऐड कर दूं इसके अंदर कि don't forget NIB. Aisha, if you have an idea, this is where you start.
Absolutely, bilkul. Thank you for that input, Hassan.
Okay, so next question. How do you balance family life and professional life?
Cool. I think आपको हम ये दे दें सवाल, if you would very quickly like to answer that question.
Sorry, family life and work life, right?
Yes.
Balance. किस तरीके से आप balance रखती हैं?
इसमें I would suggest कि everyone in your family and everyone in your friends or circle is not supporting you. So you are supposed to create your support network around you. जब आप अपना एक support network बना लेते हैं, whether it's like friends में से कौन से लोग हैं, family में से कौन से लोग हैं जो कि आपको support कर सकते हैं ऐसे time पे when you have certain challenges या कोई ऐसी बात जहाँ पे you need some family support or friend support, you need to create that circle also. Secondly, in case of work family life, as someone else mentioned also कि वो जो एक mom guilt है, वो आपको लोग बहुत mention कराते हैं, लोग आपको बहुत ज़्यादा feel कराते हैं कि हमें तो काम की ज़रूरत ही नहीं है, आप काम करते हैं तो बहुत अच्छा है, but हमें ज़रूरत नहीं है. So don't actually focus on these people जो कि आपके लिए थोड़ा toxic साबित होते हैं. So ज़रा tonic लोगों पे focus करें तो आपका work life, family life balance हो जाता है. And you need to understand कि ये चीज़ें, it comes with time. Phases में आपकी जब आप people start recognizing you, आपकी achievements को, आपकी strengths को, तो वो खुद से भी आपकी चीज़ों को accept करना शुरू कर देते हैं. शुरू में you're not getting that altogether. So it takes time. You have to be a little patient. and you have to focus on your vision and your dreams also. तो आप उसमें खुद balance कर लेते.
Thank you. बस ये हम last सवाल ले लेते हैं.
Secondly, I would like to add one thing more.
Please go ahead.
The point is that basically, I believe giving quality time to your kids is more important rather than giving quantity. अगर आप quality time दे रहे हैं, time basically अगर आप उनको दिन में 2 घंटे दे रहे हैं, you're a working mother और आप उनके साथ आगे दिन में 2 घंटे उनके साथ एक अच्छा time गुजार रहे हैं, तो वो एक अच्छे productive time होगा और आपके बच्चे जो हैं वो successful जो हैं आगे ज़्यादा successful हो सकेंगे. Rather than आप उनको एक पूरा दिन तो दे रहे हैं, लेकिन time जो quality है वो नहीं कर सक रहे, तो उसका फायदा क्या है कि पूरा दिन आप shout कर रहे हैं उन पे और आप उनको morals नहीं दे सक रहे, तो उस चीज का फायदा नहीं है. तो I believe जो working mothers हैं उनके बच्चे ज्यादा जो हैं वो responsible होते हैं, ज्यादा mature होते हैं as compared to mothers जो कि housewives होती हैं.
I think adaptable बच्चे बहुत होते हैं ना, because वो moms को working देखते हैं, so they have this next level of appreciation for women and women's careers as well. I mean, I know that my children are, I've been a working mom all my life, and you know, my kids really appreciate that I am working, और वो जो काम का experience होता है, जो knowledge होती है, जो wisdom होती है, you use all of that to groom your children. So I think it's tough, but it can be done and it can be achieved. Quality
Plus एक और चीज भी है कि when your sons see mothers working, तो वो अब ये जो next generation होगी, when they see their mothers working and they are entrepreneurs, तो उनको अपनी बीवियों को as an entrepreneurs achieve करते हुए एक ज़्यादा वो easily उस चीज को accept कर लेंगे उस चीज को, because उनके घर में environment होगा और उस चीज को उन्हें देखा हुआ होगा, तो उनके लिए ज़्यादा जो है वो acceptance जो है वो ज़्यादा easy होगी.
बिल्कुल ऐसा ही है, बिल्कुल ऐसा ही है. I'm so sorry कि हमें Q&A का session जो है इतना limited करना पड़ रहा है. Noshin, I don't think there's any more questions that you feel that we need to add to at the moment. I would just like to take 2 minutes to thank everybody in this, in my team. सबसे पहले National Idea Bank की team को और Hassan साहब को और Azam साहब को, I personally would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to host this event. It was an absolute pleasure. और इस बहाने जिन औरतों से, ख़वातीन से मेरी मुलाकात हुई है, it's been truly mind-blowing. And I've had some amazing conversations with some of these women outside this forum. And you know, जो काम वो लोग करेंगे, एक दफा उनको सुनो ना, तो you just feel कि आपका passion दोबारा से revive हो जाती है, आपको दोबारा से वो inspiration मिलती है. So I would just like to say thank you to Hassan Saab and Azam for giving me this opportunity. I would also like to thank my wonderful team. मैंने पहली दफा पाकिस्तान में इतनी confident, productive team देखी. You know, you guys were so good. जिस तरीके से आप लोगों ने इस चीज को manage किया है, खासतौर पे मैं travel कर रही थी, उसके बावजूद I made a few hiccups, but you guys were there and I knew you had my back. So thank you so much. Thank you to Khurram. Thank you to Noshin. Thank you to Kahafa. Thank you to all the teams. I know mujhe sabke naam, Osama and few others that I've missed out on. I apologize sincerely, but thank you so much. I'm so humbled to work with you guys. And inshallah ta'ala, I think we're going to do another event. Hame bada maza aaya tha isme. So we possibly will have another event in a couple of months' time with more female entrepreneurs and youth. Thank you everyone so much today, and I close this event. Anyone कुछ और कोई कहना चाहेगा?
मैम एक और क्वेश्चन आ गया है,
जल्दी से.
I have 3 sisters and all of them are in MBBS in government universities. How can I motivate them to have their own startup? A brother messaged for his sisters.
Well, share this event with them. Share this event. Let them hear the stories of other फीमेल एंटरप्रेन्योर्स जो कि स्पेस में काम कर रही हैं, तो एक इंस्पिरेशन जो एक ऐसी चीज होती है ना, वो बहुत कंटेजियस होती है, और पैशन बहुत कंटेजियस होता है। आई फील जब आप किसी और को सुनते हैं ना, तो ऑटोमेटिकली वो चीज आपके अंदर आ ही जाती है। जैसा कि मैंने कहा कि इन सारी खवातीन को सुनने के बाद माय पैशन हैज रिवाइव्ड। सो आई डेफिनेटली थिंक कि आप सारी औरतों की जो स्टोरीज हैं उनके साथ शेयर करें, एंड इंशाल्लाह ताला दे विल बी इंस्पायर्ड टू। ठीक है, shall we end this? Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, and give yourselves a round of applause. And inshallah ta'ala, we'll see you all soon, very soon. And please, हाँ, मैं जाते जाते ये जरूर कहूँगी, please आप नेशनल आइडिया बैंक की कंपटीशन में लेडीज हिस्सा लें आप, और एंड गाइस जो देख रहे हैं इसमें अपने आइडियाज को फॉरवर्ड करें, एंड प्लीज टेक दैट फर्स्ट स्टेप। आपको कभी भी पूरा स्टेयरकेस नहीं नजर आएगा, सिर्फ पहली सीढ़ी पे आपने कदम रखना है, और बाकी जो है खुद ब खुद रोलिंग में आ जाता है। सो थैंक यू सो मच गाइस, सी यू नेक्स्ट टाइम। थैंक यू।
मैं स्टार्ट करना चाहती हूँ लास्ट में गर्ल्स के लिए स्पेशली। जस्ट मैम गिव मी जस्ट 1 मिनट। मैम बेसिकली मैम हमने जब स्टार्ट किया था, हमें भी कोई आयशा की तरह वे नजर नहीं आ रहा था हमने कहाँ से स्टार्ट लेना है। बट मैम जब हमें पाकिस्तान 100 के बारे में पता चला, तो वो हमारा फर्स्ट स्टेप था जो हमने लिया था। और मैम जब एक आप स्टेप ले सकते हैं ना, उसके बाद रास्ते खुद ब खुद खुल जाएंगे आपके लिए। आपके पास इन्वेस्टमेंट नहीं है, कोई मसला नहीं है। आप जस्ट एक दफा किसी कंपटीशन में, किसी बूट कैंप में, या कोई भी आपको ऐसा कोई पॉइंट नजर आ रहा है जहां से आप आगे मूव कर सकते हो, आप उस पर स्टेप ले लो। आप कुछ सीखोगे, अगर जीतोगे नहीं, कुछ नहीं करोगे, एटलीस्ट कुछ सीख जाओगे, और वो सीखा हुआ बाद में काम
बिल्कुल
आता है।
ऐसे,
And thank you,
बिल्कुल
ma'am.
ऐसा ही है सना। Thank you so much, Sana, for sharing your wisdom. And बिल्कुल ऐसे ही है, पहला कदम आप लें, और बाकी में मेरी नानी एक मिसाल देती थी, हिम्मत मदद मदद खुदा। तो आई थिंक वो उनका इस बात का मतलब ये था कि आप हिम्मत करें और खुदा आपकी मदद करेगा। सो इसी नोट पे जो है मैं इस इवेंट को क्लोज करती हूँ। थैंक यू सो मच एवरीवन, एंड इंशाल्लाह ताला सी यू ऑल सून।
Thank you for having us.
Thank you जी, अल्लाह हाफिज।
Thank you, Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz everyone, Allah Hafiz.